Microphone muted.
Hey everybody, we are participating in Alpha Havoc's 1-4 training today.
Okay, I think we can join right.
Bravo team leaders, so gonna run through and kind of see how that goes. This will be my first time team leading, so I'm kind of happy at the training, to be honest.
Microphone activated.
Private Spears, if you need any help getting your radio set up or anything, let me know.
No problem.
You need a 240 loadout? Do you have one?
I should have one. I'm double checking now. Download mission file.
I put one at public if you want it.
Okay.
Grab TLS. Dixon.
Just a small question, did they fix the flag issue?
I have no idea.
Got it.
Nicholson.
Probably
Nick,
not since
grab TLS.
yesterday, at least.
Yeah.
Wanna hop up?
Yep.
Yeah, go to Lieutenant's channel.
This is Spears jumping up.
Channel switched.
I just want to get my radio check frequency 4200.
Alright, where is everybody at?
I better get a good saw gunner.
You may not even get one, man.
Really?
That last minute shit's always pretty sketchy.
Station this net. This is Spears, Bravo team leader. Frequency check or radio check on frequency 114 over.
Bravo, this is Alpha Reedy 505 and 114 over.
Roger out.
Roger Littleberry. Knock knock. Who's there? Hello, team.
Bravo radio check.
Capability for it.
3.2.
Sergeant Line.
Copy. Out.
Yes.
Do you mind having a look? Just double checking I've got everything I need. This is the loadout I built off of our units standard, so I just want to make sure.
Give him a go, smack LT.
Say again, I can use radio.
I do have my CLS with me as well.
Make sure you're whispering.
Yeah, just get that shit ready to go, and if you don't fill in for your AR, just carry the pocket thumper. You have the weight capability for it.
Copy all. Roger.
Well, the boxes are not in your backpack, so I can't see what ammo you're carrying.
1117.
But if you got this off of somebody from our unit, I'm sure it's fine.
Actually, I don't have any ammo.
That's a problem.
Yeah. I'll talk to Cannon about that. Which ones do we typically take, Sergeant?
Negative, sir. We had a last minute.
Charlie, radio check 114.
What's the problem?
Which ones do we usually take?
Charlie's Alpha Reedy 555 and
I mean, I
114
know
over.
which ones we take, but I don't know which quantities.
Yeah, I've sorted him up.
Well, you should. I
Are in
think
training 1 or training 2?
you're gonna carry 6 boxes
Which was it?
of the.
Yeah, but looks like we,
I got 400 rounds for you, Rennie. So you've got
No,
you guys.
Oh, I got it here.
Oh, they suck. But okay.
Got it.
Yeah, I got it.
We'll see if we get anybody else, and then I'll assign you.
Alright, let's get we can
Is
let
that
everybody ready. Let's
definite?
get together over here.
pulling the standby.
This is Delta Radio check frequency 114 over.
Delta have you 5x5.
Alright, we're gonna see if this actually works.
Good copy, out.
'Cause it looks like I can zero this.
Do we have
Means I
assistance?
could use it.
Negative.
Oh dear.
If you're rolling with that, then
Go ahead and push green. Sergeant line.
I can make friends somewhere else if you need me to make friends somewhere else.
You want to roll with it?
No, you're good.
Private Nicholson, what color am I?
You are blue.
Blue.
You know,
Got it.
that actually might work, because that would give me the ability to do recon with it.
Alright, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
Using that.
One needs to go to 1-3. 1-4 is
Any station, oh my god.
This is Havoc, requesting a check on frequency 111.1.
Do we have someone 320?
I think they
We might get a AR, so you might just go pick up your loadout, and I'll drop it. But yeah, I got 320 if you want to get one. Oh, okay, sweet.
Microphone muted.
So this unit's a little light. Looks like I may or may not actually have an assistant this afternoon, so we'll see how that goes. If I don't have an assistant, we'll be running with just kind of each other. Still be doing 4 fire teams, but we'll be grouped together, so it'll be
back and forth.
me and Charlie
Where's Wang?
and Alpha and
Do it to
Delta
DC.
as a group.
Microphone activated.
So you not joining us?
No, he'll have a quick flight back.
Gotcha.
It's probably the loadouts.
That's a really fucking quick flight. What are we using, like supersonic aircraft for that now?
Yeah. Sound barriers broken, all that shit.
Hit that Mach 3, yo.
Bullet train.
Alright guys, looks like we probably will be getting assistance, so...
Here in, what would you say this is, Georgia?
Spears, you're gonna be, 114.2
For the AGOG for this
for your main channel.
Okay.
I prefer that one.
Then you're gonna relay everything on 114.
Understood.
Delta, you're gonna be 114.4.
145, whatever the fuck it's called.
It works for me.
I need to get my radio.
Alright. So we're here's this is your first time being a team lead. Do you want to zip over here away from them and talk about your radio setup?
Like,
right above.
I've got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the 700
Well, when I went to Delaney, you were tagged.
With the little hush. You got any questions, Spears?
Yeah, this jerk off took my
No, I'm good.
He was kicking and screaming.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pull this smoke.
Currently,
Are you running as my mic?
Yep. I am your mic. Okay.
Beautiful.
Alright, let's make a line.
Yeah, we're congregated over there.
Okay.
Circle jerking, so.
You see where we
Gotcha.
So we're waiting on.
All right, radio check. This is Spears on 114.
Spears, you're Bravo, but got you 5x5 Bravo.
Okay.
Roger out. All right. Thanks. Just want to make sure I had the alternate keybind working.
A lot of PV1s joining this.
Yeah, I think they're all from O's.
Microphone muted.
So this is gonna be fun. Sounds like we're getting PV1s fresh out of OSIT, which means they are completely and utterly new.
This is Mike, radio check on frequency 114, over.
So we'll have to see how this goes. It'll be my first time team leading, and somebody who's brand new will be my assistant. So fun.
Microphone activated.
How was this batch, by the way, Parent?
1-2 out.
Don't know. All I know about him is just sitting in the classroom just now.
Any station, this is Nibs.
Fair enough.
Scratch that. Any
One
station,
Mike, this is
a lot
1-4
of team
Mike,
leader
radio
spots
check on
opening up
frequency
first
42,
platoon.
over.
Oh yeah. 1-3's gonna be off comms through Mike.
Nicholson, do you have both?
1-3
assistant
gonna be off comms through Mike.
Say again?
Do you have both of the assistant loadouts?
I did. Any station, this is Nibs, radio check frequency 1.
Any
station, this net. This is 1-4, radio check on 114, over.
1 mic, 1-3 mic, radio check.
Oh, for Charlie has you 5x5.
I just got in. Okay, last out.
Copy out.
1-4, radio check on frequency 17, over.
Any station, this net. This is Mike, radio check on 113, over.
Hi, Liberty Charlie.
Mike, this is Alpha,
Alright,
Charlie
cool.
113.
Okay, last out.
Copy out.
Alright, yeah, I got 6 of them coming in. I have 4 slots
Sergeant
myself,
Gillen, are
and
you
then we
still
can
at
spread them out
full
evenly throughout all the squads. We can do that. And I
Havoc,
told them basically
AR.
just grab a slot, and we'll sign them.
this real quick.
and
The
dish 'em
captain
out.
himself is a
Yeah, well, we were because we were gonna send one,
Roger,
one,
thank you.
one, one, 1-3, and
AR.
so
I'll
if there's 6, 4 of them can be with
Platoon
you.
number
We'll
two,
figure out
two
what to
minutes.
do with the other 2.
Right.
All right.
Cool. I'll go rally them in towards me. And
Mitchell,
then
you two I see in for Bravo.
and send them where they need to go.
Negative. Damn, you got
The
mad
two
razor
that
bump.
aren't assigned, I don't know if I don't care who joins you out of those
Congrats
ones,
with the two I
but
see.
I just need to know who the two that
beans.
aren't assigned
Deal.
so I can get them assigned as soon as possible.
Gotcha.
Alright.
I hate feeling old. Nibs, I apologize. Stand by.
I'm at T1
Why we're in this stupid ass car?
Yeah, I guarantee you're older than me.
High speed, low
Hey, O'Connor.
Sergeant Greg is
Special O'Connor.
click on the numbers, but nothing
I
happens.
think I do have
Alright.
some stuff.
Specialist O'Connor, go ahead and take Private John under your wing as an assistant.
Alpha, this is one.
Alright, John.
Private Livingston, go ahead and take Private Ryder as your assistant here.
You gotta get used to. You gotta get used to calling me.
Wait 1 second. Delta, this is actual. Over.
Mitchell, you wanna squat that?
Private Spear.
Cool. You're
Set for Delta.
Delta, are you cool with taking a freshie on you? Over.
Absolutely.
Alright, I'm sending your way.
Great. I was just checking out my PV1 from recruit training. He seems to be in good hands.
Crickets.
Sweet.
Private Spear.
Private Echo, you're gonna be going with my Delta. Go ahead.
Let's get in
and
a
go
stack
to
in that case.
Can you hear me?
Guy right here with the tube. Alright?
Understood. I'm guessing they're
Oh,
gonna
we're
tell me what
already
gear
in
to get.
stack.
Yep. Gotta
Perfect.
take care of you.
Thank you.
Welcome, bud.
Private Spear.
Apologies.
Thank you very much.
Need to be having
Khaki, if you're trying to talk, you're hot micing.
oh, excuse me.
Yeah, it happens.
What?
You're hot micing.
Bravo.
Stand by.
Just burning static.
Linko, do you have the gear?
Yeah, I'm trying to be quiet.
Oh, okay. You're good. You sound fine now. It's just every now and again it was open and just staticky.
Just wanted to say you're assisting as a PV1, right?
I don't have an assistant yet, so
Oh, I think I heard him. He said, oh, okay.
Excuse me, Sergeant Shaw. You said Delta?
Yeah.
That'd be Linko.
Sergeant Shaw, did you assign one to Bravo?
Not as right now. I'm intending
have,
to, unless
okay.
you don't think you
Oh,
can.
that's a
Alright,
good question.
do
It's
it.
normally with Alpha.
No, I've got it, Sergeant. I'm happy to do it.
Sounds good.
And
If
you'll
he
be
comes in,
TIC.
I'll send him your way.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Should be all here.
If you have any reservations about team leading, you could give it to McGarry for a spin, but both of you should know it's likely we'd get called
Yeah,
back.
stop in your tracks if you hear it go off.
I expect to run into some
Did you finish CLS scores?
If you want to give it a try, it'd be a good mission to do it.
This is Bravo. I'm off mic for 2 minutes.
Roger.
Delta squared away. We're gonna line up over here.
Bravo, all going blue this time. 'Cause we're not
You're now Charlie.
Charlie squared away. Apologies.
Team lead.
Hey Yogi,
Well, I mean,
do you think
Hey,
having your
Station
weapon
Snap,
in
didn't
this is
get to do
Ryder.
a
Radar Shack,
twice
Cruise
a turn,
114.3 over.
you want to give it a spin?
114.3, 5x5.
I don't know.
No, just go ahead and drop them back on the box. Both of them.
Yes, Sergeant.
Line up behind
Yeah, if you get lost or anything, you let me
Behind
know.
got CLS?
We're gonna fix that shit immediately. So.
That'd be Mitchell on
So when
Bravo.
3 and back on guns.
Behind me, private.
Roger.
Are you
could
actually
tell
in
we
this
ate.
fire?
Other than that, we'll have some fun blowing some shit up.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
Why don't you be the team leader?
Sounds good.
Guys, they said you were coming down, so I figured you'd
Are
like
you guys
to
all
take it
good to
better
go?
than everybody
Everyone
else.
No,
Yeah, I
because
got
that's
the
someone
only
else's
time I
loadout
team lead
round,
is when
so
there's an
you
inexperienced
like that
Hooked up a
private.
fucking AR, so we're good to go for 3 minutes.
Bravo, I'm back.
For now,
If,
your
you guys
rank
are gonna
insignia is PFC.
Roger, Bravo.
drop
Sorry
kid
for
if we get
today.
that fucking PP1 filling in.
Yeah, if I
I'll
can
cook
take
at
him
it.
to get his
You
shit
guys see Kobe and his daughter died?
get public.
Alright, cool.
All 4 of his daughters.
Really? Jesus.
Yeah.
Man, that's brutal.
There goes that bloodline.
Thank you.
Sergeant Lyon, are you hearing me through in-game as well when I talk on radio?
Fair enough, I'll try to. Hopefully it goes better than last.
Bravo is all set.
Make sure you're whispering.
Cool
You know how to
beans.
whisper, right?
Charlie's going off comms. 30
Yeah,
seconds.
I'm on this.
Out the Scooch
Alright,
gang.
just double check.
Bravo copies.
Don't ever say it again.
I'm
Same
roster
order.
right now, yeah.
Roger, Sergeant.
Control.
I'll
Okay.
just smoke myself.
This is 130.
Sometimes
Sometimes it takes a second to lock in. But I mean, I'm hearing you normally, and I'm hearing you on radio.
There you go, 10 push-ups.
Roger. Is there any...
Alpha, do you have an incendiary?
What is he doing?
Negative, I'll grab one.
What's that?
I have one in my bag, I'll throw it in your bag, so you don't have to look for it.
Oh, I heard Kit run around the airfield.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll join.
Sorry, Wayne. You
And
wanna
go
grab an
push
AT
green.
stick?
Fine, green.
Alpha Charlie, you guys are still going to be carrying CLS because the PV1s will not have the experience or class requisite for that one.
Fast speed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No problem, Sergeant.
Alright, Private, you know what?
Alright, who wants to carry CLS?
Actual, this is Bravo. Should I carry my CLS or drop it?
You're the team leader.
You can go ahead and drop it back into the box.
Roger.
Do we use the kilogram? What do you call this? Okay. Correct, I'm on 37.
Charlie's back on comms.
Copy.
I actually kind of like having people on set.
That you didn't know how to use medical supplies.
Does anybody not have bags from the guy? I'd like to offload mine.
Now.
Can you two stop wearing that stupid,
I didn't ask
like,
if it was funny, I asked if you got it.
Now, with your
unit
permission,
thing
I'm
in your
going to
range.
backpack and make sure that you are actually carrying where we need you to carry.
I don't know why it does that.
Understood.
I'll talk to you guys afterwards. So yeah,
Okay, you're all set.
Yogi.
Good number.
1-4, Charlie.
How about you, McLennan?
Send it.
I could just split him up.
Does Bravo have an assistant or no?
I've already got one.
Negative.
Okay, right.
Hey,
Spears,
push
push 114.3.
Get those up quickly.
Very good.
Oh shit.
Do you know how to get a
Who are
range?
we
Got it.
missing?
Got it. 114.3.
Alright,
Never
Roger,
gotten
and
down
you'll stay on
adjusted range. That's
squad
a
net
range
as well,
that's adjusted for
114.
elevation
I'm never
change.
too.
Copy.
I'm never.
You'll just be squatted up with Charlie.
We're not expecting.
No problem.
Like
Should show you
huge amounts of,
range on the right side, either a minus or a plus number.
Well,
On the left side.
Do you have
Calculations for you.
Okay, maybe
Second.
Sean is on.
Can Ryder hang on to a couple of boxes, or do you think we'll need them?
Here's primary.
Ryder, what's your weight?
just have extra ammo.
114.1.
Someone
Are you
issuing your
Yeah, you can take a box.
All right, I'm gonna put one in your bag, Ryder.
Let me know when you're out.
1-4, Charlie.
Send it.
Get my assistant carry a box for Bravo.
4.1 radio check.
Don't worry about it. I don't think we'll actually have to deal with that. Plus, I got some boxes. I'm gonna double check with one as well, see if they got any.
My pistol magazine.
Roger that, and be advised, Charlie's carrying CLS.
Perfect.
Microphone muted.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for the follow, buddy. I appreciate it, man.
Actually, this is Alpha. Alpha's green to go.
How's this quality look, guys? I changed a couple things around, try to make it look a little bit better, change the way it encodes, so hopefully it looks pretty good.
You got any questions, John?
Microphone activated.
John,
Okay, hey,
do you have any questions?
nope. Negative.
Ryder, you have any questions?
Stay with me. Stick with me.
Yeah.
Don't let me die.
Alright, PCCs should be good right now. I have tracked food where
I don't know what to
you
make
guys
of
can
that
break out
statement, to be honest
chat
with you,
with people
actually.
if you want.
Confirm 9 months.
Delta copies.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Ryder?
Say it.
Did you have a question or no?
Yeah, right. Let's move that
You got your
chat box
earplugs?
up a little bit.
Because this is
so
the
we
one
can
spot where
actually
you
see
really
it,
need
huh?
them.
That's Warlord.
How about that?
Affirmative.
So when I have this doohickey up, yep, perfect, good, good. Yeah, Tyler, I'm almost to the Twitch affiliate. It's gonna have an average of three viewers at any given time. So, you know, if you want to watch your boys' channel, throw me a bone.
Microphone activated.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Roger.
I can save him because I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
If you when you start running low on ammo, let me know and I'll get my assistant to give you some.
Okay.
We'll just split the ammo between us.
That sounds good.
I don't normally carry 2 spray paint.
I've got 600 with me, so it should be good, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
we're gonna avoid that.
Can I
You can grab 1 or 2 more.
paint it all?
Yeah.
Alright, let me go grab some more then.
Alright, see.
Maybe. We'll see.
Send it 1-1.
Once you do that, I need you to exchange the law for the 84.
Alright, 1-2, check your micro dagger. Looks like we've got an LZ marked.
Or the M126.
209er.
Make sure we're getting everything fucking squared away, and we're trying to figure out the rest of the last.
Delta's good with the mouse.
I'm good.
I like it. Alright, just let me know when you're green, essentially, even if you're short 1. Over.
1-2 copies, green, short 1, over.
Why can I not
It's like a patrol.
zoom in
1-3,
and out
same
now?
traffic as 1-2.
Roger, 1-3.
1-4, don't know if I mentioned it already, but same traffic.
What team are we?
Ready to go.
But we're alpha.
Roger, so it sounds like
Okay, he's gonna refer to us as Alpha or Team 1, Team 2.
So we're gonna be alpha.
Roger.
We're gonna be heading southeast. You heard Lion, we're gonna be heading southeast.
So on 114.1, there's only me and you on that channel.
Yeah, moving southeast.
Just so you know.
My no-kneeling rule, and now my knees are hurt.
Check.
Wow, that looks like a long fucking patrol. Holy shit.
It's gonna be a little bit of a hike.
Oh, I can't wait.
Blisters.
Alright, for Rob, we got everyone lined up. Nice and
does
full.
anyone
Shit, so,
understand what you just
can get
said?
an accurate number of who we got?
Just pour Vaseline on it.
Copy.
Well, you guys know what to do with blisters, right?
Are you guys just like
If you get a blister on your finger,
Behind me.
You flying it open? Are you flying
You always pop it, right?
Ski.
no, you just gotta go soak it in cider.
Ski.
Wow,
Easy
your
six.
technique's
Give
way
you
to
all wrong answers.
Behind me.
It's on video, you can get a
Nice
clip of
angle
it.
here.
Any station this net, this is Private Burns requesting radio check on
Havoc 1, this is 1-6. Just
112.2.
do a quick check. Make sure everybody is condition 4 and your squad's over.
Copy.
Condition 4.
Discard.
1-3 cap.
Double check on your guns, make sure you're condition 4.
Make sure you condition 4.
It's funny, I didn't hit grape soda
Alpha,
right here.
this is Private Burns requesting radio check on 112.1.
Charlie screen.
Yeah. Next time you
Gotcha,
mention that
gotcha.
shit, fucking, just say drink
In a
wings.
wind tunnel?
Roger.
1, this is 1-2, 100% this time, over.
Solid copy 1-2.
1-2 out.
Ryder, are you bringing any updog with you?
Think you got anything in that too?
What?
Did you bring any updog with you?
Alright, Sarge 1, you good?
Copy.
Not much, dog.
Are you good? I'm gonna rally him up here. We're gonna get this shit show on the road.
Oh no, you got me curious.
Alright, Havoc 1, school circle on myself and Sergeant Munson.
School circle on.
Alright, rally.
1-2 copies.
Let's do it.
1-3 copies.
Yeah, I have it set on shift space for my tanking system. Hey, Fur.
Couldn't get chauffeurs for those guys.
Alright, Havoc 1, how we doing today?
Fucking tastic.
Outstanding. Real quickly, we're gonna just cover some things here today before this platoon training. We get into all the fun stuff. But first and foremost, if you are a fill-in here for Havoc 1 platoon training, go ahead and stand up. Yeah. So before we even step off today, fucking thank you to all of you that are standing right now. Obviously, this platoon training wouldn't be able to happen without you guys. So, especially, I believe we have about 6 PV1s in here from OSET. So thank you to all of you guys here helping us get our training in for the month. You guys, it's much appreciated. I can't, thank you guys enough because you guys continue to come and help us out. Whether it's squad trainings, our operations, and now platoon training, it's almost half of you guys are fill-ins. So appreciate it. You guys can go ahead and take a knee. All right. So a couple things I want to talk about here today, guys. Let's see. Who do I want to pick on?
Me. Pick on me.
Okay. Captain Drumheller. If somebody were to ask you what it is the 506 does, How would you describe it to them?
Okay. I literally wrote that, so maybe you should pick on someone else.
Sergeant Duncan, go ahead and stand up. If somebody asked you what we do in the 506, what would you answer that question?
Kick the enemy's ass,
Alright.
sir.
All right. Looking for if somebody was actually looking to be informed on what the 506 does, can anybody volunteer and tell me what we do here?
Air assault, sir.
All right. Anybody else got an answer? Okay. Wasn't the answers I was quite looking for. Those are good answers, not going to lie. But what we do here is we're a realism unit, right? We simulate real-world United States Army tactics, structure, you fucking name it. I think I can speak for a majority of the people in the unit that a lot of us join this because we're looking for that sort of teamwork, camaraderie, but above all, the realism and role play, if you will, that we do here in the 506. Are you on the same page with me with that?
Well,
Lieutenant.
All right. So that being said,
Microphone
I want to
muted.
talk about some of the
Yeah, we should be,
issues
Steven.
that have been poking
This
their
is a
heads up in
training
Havoc 1
exercise, and I'm acting as team
and
leader for the
elsewhere
first
within
time, so we'll see how
the
things go.
unit, but I'm gonna
Appreciate
be
you stopping
addressing
by
what's
again.
Havoc 1. So first thing is just
Microphone
immersion.
activated.
All right, everything I just said, immersion ties into that. And that's at all times. So even when we're sitting here in PCCs, always keep things like immersion in check. What do I mean by immersion? That means not talking about how wasted you got last night, not talking about what your dog's doing next to your desk, not talking about that your mouse just died from the batteries, anything along those lines of real world. When you are in these servers, when you are in an official operation, you are, if you will, role-playing your position in the platoon at all times. So that's something that keep in mind no matter where you are, whether you're filling in for another platoon, whether it's just a squad training, hell, even if it's a team leader having a little team training, an unofficial team training, that is still an official environment where we need to keep those immersion things up at all costs. It's part of the foundation of what we have here at the 506. Even if you and your buddy are running around, like the two of you don't care, which by all means you should, the rest of the fucking people around you that are hearing your conversations and hearing you talk, it matters to them. It matters to me, and I know it matters to a hell of a lot of people here in this unit. So be mindful of the shit that you're saying in the field at all times. It doesn't matter if you haven't been shot at for 15 minutes, if you're holding the sector, or if you're sitting here in PCCs. Keep that shit in mind. It's going to start coming down a lot harder the more we're hearing on situations of people breaking immersion. It's not fun. And if you do slip up, it happens to all of us. If you slip up and make some sort of immersion breaking comment, just drop it. Move on from it. Don't try to save it. Don't try to come up with some smart ass, rebuttal to it to make it sound right. Just drop it, let it go. And everybody else that's on that net or anybody else around that hears that, that's not an opportunity to get in a big piss fighting argument in the middle of the field. Just drop it, move on, and discuss it in a debrief. Nobody wants to be hearing about that shit out in the field, let alone hearing the stuff to begin with. So that's something I want you guys, we should always be looking into doing that. But, especially for today and just moving forward in general, make sure we're keeping that shit under wraps and think about the people around you. We're here to role play what we're doing. We don't give a shit about what's going on necessarily in your real life in that moment, or what's going on technical or anything like that, which I'm going to speak separately here. Does everybody understand where I'm coming from when it comes to immersion?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then alongside with that would be things like tech issues, okay? This shit, we deal with this stuff all the time on a regular basis. Shit's gonna happen. You're gonna see a floating body, or someone's gonna be lagging and doing the fucking running man, or maybe they're naked or something. Now, in a situation where if you see somebody with no uniform on or something, you need to come up with a creative way to tell them that, and most likely they need to disconnect from the server if everybody's seeing them naked. But if you're getting some sort of a tech issue, come up with something creative, if you will, to pass along that issue. If you see something fuckery, like bad guys floating in the air or something stupid going on, that doesn't mean you laugh at it. That doesn't mean you point it out. That doesn't mean you bring it up. You just act like it's not there, because that also ties into immersion. We have limits in this in Arma, right? We can't make everything fucking perfect. So that ties into some of the role play shit that I'm talking about too. Just Pretend it's not fucking there. Move on with your day and continue on with the mission and focus on your job. Does everybody understand that?
Affirm, Lieutenant.
Sergeant Munson, do you have anything to add on those two particular topics?
I do, LT. Real quick, guys, another kind of add into that is kind of valuing your life. It's not something we talk about a ton as far as officially in the unit, but it is pretty much as important as everything the LT just discussed, is valuing your life and not re-peaking stuff constantly and everything that goes along with that. Be smart. Take the slower, smarter route when attacking positions or whatever. Just don't be repeating stuff constantly and try to value your life just a little bit. Makes it a lot more enjoyable for everybody. But that's all I had.
Roger that, Sergeant Munson. Captain Drummeller, did you have anything to add on that topic, as I know it's something you're near and dear to?
Sort of, yes. Let me be real clear on one thing. Talking about how hammered you were last night in the United States military is extremely realistic. Assuming you're not on deployment. So, when you're on deployment, you don't get alcohol generally, or if you do, you get like 1 or 2 beers. So, that actually sort of ties in to, having a good understanding of, realism and immersion, and when you can use those different types of comments in game and when to quote unquote flick the switch. That's what we always have called it, is flicking the switch between, your standard, fuck around unit. You guys watch Soviet Womble videos. It looks like he has a lot of fun, but that's not what we do here. Yeah, we hate having fun here. That's the whole purpose of this unit. But thank you, one guy who laughed at that. But we're here. We're here for the more. Say again.
We were all laughing. You just didn't hear us.
Okay. Sure. We're here for the more realistic and immersive, combat military environment. That's what you sign up for. If you didn't want that, there are a lot of other units out there that do it less seriously than we do. So try to keep that in mind at all times. Is the thing I'm about to say gonna break immersion or be unrealistic for the scenario we're in? We're like the LT said, and like it says on the front page on the thing that I wrote, we roleplay here. That's what we're doing. We're a big ass fucking nerdy roleplay unit. So keep in mind, would this be realistic for a soldier deployed in the current situation that I'm in? And that's what it needs to be. That's all I got.
Roger, thanks, sir. And yeah, I do want to piggyback what Captain said about, guys, we still want to have fun here. If we don't have fun, we do want to have fun while we're here. Not saying that you can't crack jokes or things like that in the field, but just know where that fucking limit is. Like Captain said, flip the switch. It is a fine line that you can dance on, but if you feel like you're getting too close to that line, you're probably either over it already or you shouldn't be getting that close to it. And the NCOs here in the room, I'm really looking at you guys. You guys are the ones that need to be making sure that you're reinforcing those values to the rest of your squad or your team throughout your time here in the 506. So we'll move on from that. The other thing I wanted to touch on, again, actually ties into this, is simply addressing each other by rank. This is something that I continue to see on a regular basis not being utilized specifically in squad training environments. Generally speaking, we're pretty good about it in platoon and task force level environments, but that needs to go further down, even in the squad training environments. Even though you might be good friends or you've been working with the same guy for a long time, some of you years, you still need to address each other by rank at all times, specifically NCOs. And that's another foundation of something here at the 506. It's not because we're trying to stroke our egos and X person is higher ranked than you, so blah, 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 blah. That's all bullshit in my eyes. we should be respecting each other in our ranks, specifically the NCOs for all the hard work and time and effort those guys have put in to help make your guys' experiences enjoyable. And this also ties into things like orders in the field. When you get an order from one of your superiors, specifically an NCO, whether it's a team leader, squad leader, what have you, your duty is to execute those orders as fast as possible, unless you can't, in which I would expect you to communicate that. But there is no questioning orders or trying to come up with your own idea unless it's literally imminent danger. That movement's going to put you out into a field that has inflating fire from a BMP or just something crazy like that. Obviously, then you're looking out for the brothers next to you. But when your team leader tells you to move somewhere, you fucking move there. But yeah, so make sure, again, NCOs, team leaders, squad leaders, make sure we're reinforcing that. And that goes all the way down to the normal 11 Bravo, even you PV1s here joining us today. Make sure you're addressing each other by ranks at all times. It's one of the biggest forms of respect that we can pay to each other here during our time in the unit. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sergeant Munson, did you have anything else to add along any of those lines? We'll start getting into what we're doing here today.
No, I think I'm good, LT.
All right. So today's...
Nope, I actually do have something on that.
Send it, Captain.
A little bit more clarification on why we're so strict on addressing each other by rank. The LT touched on it a little bit, but not the crux of the issue, I guess, from my perspective at least. It's more because that addressing people by rank is sort of the foundation of the realism and the role playing. Because if we can't even get that right, then how does that proliferate itself throughout the whole unit? That's the philosophy that basically I use to make sure that at its very basic level, we're in that mindset of, if you address someone by their rank, then a lot of other stuff falls into place after that. And that's why we're so strict on that, because that's the most basic level of realism and role-playing that we do. And if you guys aren't doing that and you're not enforcing it as NCOs, then where are we as a unit? We have a bunch of chuckleheads running around being fucking retarded in missions and thinking it's okay and ruining everyone else's experience. So they tie directly into each other, the two issues that have been brought up here today. That's all I got on that.
Roger, thank you, Cap. All right, so Havoc 1 for today's platoon training, the focus is going to be on mainly reaction to contact in more of an open environment, if you will. Throughout this deployment, we've been doing quite a bit of CQC and MOUT and clearing a lot of cities and buildings. I wanted to try to take a step back from that today. So today's exercise is going to be really, really important for communication, and what we're going to be doing is basically putting the maneuvers and the movement all on the shoulders of the squad leaders today. Myself and Sergeant Munson are going to be pretty hands-off for the majority of this exercise. Sergeant Munson will still be on the ground, running with some of the TAC-P elements, but we're not looking to be giving you guys any sort of specific movement orders whatsoever. We are going to leave it on the squads to determine and work together how to accomplish the task and defeat the enemy, because during this exercise there's not going to be a real clear objective as far as what you guys are going to be hitting. We're going to have a marked path for you guys to sort of stay on track and follow along with. That's more for, honestly, an Ares thing. But we're leaving most of the movement up to you guys. If you open up your maps, you will see the rough line that we've marked along the map. We're going to be inserting somewhere down on the southeast side of the island here. I don't believe that LZ marker is actually accurate. I think the TAC-Ps and Deco chose a different... Okay, yeah, Sergeant Carroll's is just a little bit north of that marker that I currently have. And then you guys are going to be pushing up and roughly following that marked line on the map on a patrol. And you guys are going to be reacting to anything that gets thrown at you appropriately as a platoon. Now, in order for this to happen, this is going to require the squad leaders to be constantly in communication with each other. And in order for them to do that, it's going to require the team leaders within the squads to be communicating effectively with one another. And in order for them to do their jobs, it's going to take every single one of you 11 Bravos to be effectively communicating on your team net. It is truly going to be a collaborative group effort. So keep that in mind throughout the exercise today. You know, try to watch your comms. Try not to be clogging comms up with unnecessary traffic. Send short, concise orders through your comms. If somebody doesn't understand something, ask to say again. But we're really going to have to keep the comms clear and concise throughout this exercise in order to let those leadership positions do their jobs. And in order for everybody to do their jobs, we have to trust one another. Trust the guy next to you to be doing his job. And trust your team leaders to be doing their job. Trust your squad leaders to be doing their job just as much as they're trusting you, all the way down to the normal 11 Bravo guy holding an AT4 in his back to be doing his job. All right, so does anybody have any questions on what we're going to be doing here today?
Negative, LT.
Negative.
All right. Stand by. Deco, are we all good to go regarding our birds?
A firm LT. Northern Chinook will put down first.
Roger, and you said we're going to take 2 Chinooks and a Blackhawk, is that correct?
A firm.
All right. All right, so if nobody else has anything that they want to bring up before this, we are going to get stepped off here. Like I said, a lot of hands off. I don't expect you guys to be calling Havoc 1 for much of anything unless it's really needed. Call each other. Even something as like 1-4, I gave them the option what they wanted to choose for AT today. So if we're all squared away, go ahead and I assume the birds are out here on the flight line. All right. So go ahead and we're going to get into 2 Chinooks. Platoon HQ is going to be in the Blackhawks. Squad leaders, figure out which fucking Chinooks you're going to get in. Make it happen.
Condition.
Go ahead, condition 1,
All
your
stations
rifles.
be advised, 1-3's going to be slightly delayed.
Lock and load, rally up on me.
Go ahead and lock and load condition 1.
We're gonna rally up on the compass.
Condition 1.
Show 1-4 lead.
Duncan, get your kit swapped out.
Rifleman is carrying 2 boxes of 5.56 for you, 200 rounds.
I'll get to you.
Hey, you need to talk about objectives.
Actual Bravo is going to go ahead and head out toward the birds.
Condition 1 cars.
Can you hear me now?
Safety zone.
Alright, 1-3, start.
Go ahead and head out to the birds, waiting on infos, which one we're getting on.
Which squad are we in?
On me.
You're with me.
Head now.
Just follow
Alright, follow me.
Stand by.
Alright, guys, follow
This
one.
one. You got this.
1-3, I'll be with you.
Yeah, copy.
Taking the southern bird, guys.
Alright, we're taking the northern bird and we're getting on the right-hand side.
Taking the northern bird, getting on the right hand side.
Right-hand side.
Assistant Troubles, what's going on?
He's not moving.
Alright, guys, we're gonna be in the southern.
Roger, I'll send it up.
Hey,
He's not transmitting on radio, right?
1-2, this one.
Southern
Negative.
bird.
Hi, whoever said that.
Leave him or stay here with him.
Leave him for now, and if he needs to get reinserted, we'll deal with that then.
Over.
Set up on the left side of
Darby, you trying to group up?
There's a kitty seat up front for you.
I say again last on what word and how we're doing it. Ward right-hand side of the northern
Peter,
Chinook.
try to take one of the ramp. Try to be the last one.
1-2, load up when you get here.
On Spears.
1-1, this 1-2.
Just go ahead and load up.
Charlie, you're gonna want to
What side
take
do you
one of
want
the
us on?
ramp slots.
Bravo.
Understood. Got it.
team leads on those
Got
guns
my
if
belt.
they're available.
Up, push red.
Roger.
I'm having issues with my Alpha Bravo, let me know when you're all loaded up.
Darby, get to the front of the pack, get on that fucking door.
One, this is
Let me know when you guys are in. Let's go, get in line.
Be advised, one of my PV1s.
Alright, Alpha's all here.
Alright, I'll show him over here.
I'll let you know if I hear anything from them. Over.
Drum zone.
Bravo's all in.
Looking for a PV1 job.
Alpha, you all in?
Board.
A firm, if you guys are lined up, hop on in. Keep the guns down.
Copy.
I'm gonna
Alright, you
be
guys are
on
clear to
the
load in?
more northern
Which
bird.
one's left and which one's right again?
We clear?
1-4, this is 1-3. I got permission from Chief Grace and the board. We're doing so now.
Roger.
Go ahead, get on.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get into one.
Let me know when y'all are in.
1-3, copy. Alright, we're gonna be the first ones touching down, so as we hit the fucking
Charlie's
dump,
in.
we're gonna push past that fucking railroad track, get the coordinates set up into the trees while we wait for other elements to make landfall.
A firm.
Mike is in.
Rob, it looks like somebody took those seats, don't worry
We all
about it.
good?
Bravo's in.
1-1-3, we're all in.
That's my fault, Bravo.
No worries.
What? What?
We still have another 10 spaces.
Delta's in.
Alpha's in.
Send it, Bravo.
Here you go, Bravo. You can go ahead and take it.
Bravo Charlie, you guys good?
Got it.
Hey,
Bravo Charlie. Okay,
to the
cool.
west
Bravo,
of
you
it,
good?
towards that patrol route.
Bravo's good.
Makes sense.
1-3 copy.
1-4 is all in.
Your plug check.
You have any questions before we step off?
Plug's in.
Negative. No questions.
Alright, so you understand lay of the land, what we're doing?
Split Ops, Phoenix Flight, 2 times.
Hey, so
Speed,
we're just
Siege,
gonna move
47,
around, okay?
Foxtrot,
Be
Chinook,
advised if
one
stay on my
times
belt.
H60,
if you
Black
somehow
Rock.
find PB1 John,
Sign
yeah,
2,
you don't
7,
have to do, I
5,
guess.
schooling
Over.
shortly. 3-1, Phoenix 1-1, 3-2, send.
Roger, Tango Mike, out.
1-4, this is 1-3.
Copy.
Go for it. I'm in your Chinook.
Oh, looks like we got a lot of fucking space along that tree line, so when we get off the bird, I'm gonna have my guys adjust to the north, basically in line with Hill 190.
Gotcha. Once we get off, I'll probably just follow in suit and stack up on you.
Copy.
1-2, 1-1, this is 1-3.
Dagger Phoenix Flight.
Be advised, we got a pretty fucking wide tree line into the potential danger area. 1-4 and 1-3 are going to set up on the north, basically in line
Dagger,
with
did
Hill
you advise us to
190
school?
break. Once everyone's out, I recommend that we all get on one big line
Copy
and
that.
push up that enfilade towards the patrol route. Over.
A firm, make sure you listen to radios and not intercoms, because command can be in that bird.
1-4, this is Delta.
Send it.
Do you want to give a quick how to get off the bird course to our PB1s and PB2s who may not have done air assault training?
Sounds good to me. I'll run through it real quick just for them. Alright, can everyone hear me in terms of the new guys here, PB1s?
Affirmative, Sergeant.
Alright, so you haven't probably gone over this in OSA yet. I don't know what day on, but pretty sure if you're my guys, you haven't done this yet. What's going to happen is that once we land, you're going to be looking towards the ramp. You're going to let the guys closer to the ramp get off first before you get off, alright?
Off the ramp for the,
There's many reasons for this I can't get into
PB1s
right
on the
now,
bird, over.
but just get off once the guys in front of you have gotten off. Make sense?
What?
Affirmative, Sergeant. You guys have any questions on how that works?
Negative.
You want to go over setting security outside the bird, Sergeant Shaw?
That sounds good to me. Alright, once we get off the bird, what's going to happen is you're going to set up a semicircle off the ramp. You're going to see a lot of guys doing it. Just follow what they do. The idea is that you're going to be providing security for the actual helicopter to make sure it doesn't get blown the fuck up. It's pretty self-explanatory. Once you get down off of the bird, get prone, semicircle it, and just look out towards the direction. Provide security for it. Make sense?
Nope. About 15 meters away from the ramp. Don't just plop down right in front of the fucking doors.
In line with the propellers, basically.
Orders. You guys get the picture?
Affirmative, Sergeant.
Alright, we're going to be going over this on day 3 in more detail, but for right now that should suffice.
Joe, is Private John yours?
Private John is mine, yep.
They're calling for him. I'm calling for you on platoon.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna run back for him.
Send it for 1-4.
Actually, I'm gonna run back for him.
This also is not we were soldiers, don't just fucking map dump to like the tree line.
Over
the right gun,
asking
point it down.
if we're good to go. I think you're the only one who didn't check in.
Yep, I was...
Yeah, I told him you were doing your demo.
Gotcha.
Johnny 555 on point 1 over. Grab your your.
Whoever's on right
rifleman
gun, point it
loadout.
down.
Drop your AT
Roger
stick.
that.
Pick up some
Oh,
240.
my apologies.
You all good?
Perfect.
Yes, Sergeant Huang.
Receive.
Excellent.
Let me know when you're loaded up.
Jesus.
Who is our fine pilot tonight?
Chief Grayson.
Oh, the one and only.
Woo!
We will be lead, you will be first down.
Yeet yeet. Fucking A.
Yeet.
First shot down, maybe. Fuck.
You have the right to step off this bird at any time.
Nah, there's a big hole in the floor here. I'll just yeet myself out of that. It's cool.
Do a ganner.
Chief Racing, I've got a Groupon for this flight.
That's good. Check in with the travel agency over there on your left in the big red building.
Roger that.
Or white building with red doors.
What's the in-flight movie? Because I swear to God, if it's Grown Ups 2 again, I will fucking off myself.
It's actually Frozen.
Ah,
yeah,
fuck.
Well, actually, on a correction to that, we've had so many complaints about grown-ups, we've removed the TVs entirely.
Aww. That's still
Good
preferable.
job.
Still
Hey, actually,
preferable.
my assistant's making a run for it here.
Roger that. Does he know what bird? I'm gonna actually flag him down.
Ducking off comms one mic.
Hey, firm, I'm gonna hop off and flag him down real fast.
My lost little duckling's making me play back.
So cute.
Give him a treat when he gets here.
I'm putting that dingleberry right where it should be, back between my cheeks.
TV1s love a good belly rub.
It's all good. Let me give you a quick rundown real quick on how to get out of this thing. We'll go more in detail on day 3, but for right now, let me tell you how to get on. Oh, you're just gonna get on.
Welcome, Private John. Hey, you know what? Fuck it, he'll figure it out. Alright, hold comms. Alright, so, Private John, what's gonna happen is that once this thing lands, you're gonna see a lot of people getting out. The way you determine it when you get out is you're gonna look towards the ramp. People closer to the ramp are gonna get off first. Does that make sense?
Hua.
There's a lot of reasons why. I'll tell you more on day 3. But for right now, just let the guys in front of you get off first. Once you get off, you're gonna run out about 15 meters or so, about the span of the rotors on top, and you're gonna go prone. You're gonna hold a defensive position, providing security for the actual helicopter. Make sense?
Keep your position.
Once it takes off, you're clear to get up and start moving somewhere. Alright?
Different.
Alright. Perfect.
Just guys, don't forget to push your color.
Private John, make sure you got your earplugs in.
Yep, earplugs in. Still
What?
on the saddle.
John, switch to red.
And away we go.
Private, I can hold on. The assistant will push the team.
Real nice. Classy.
Hey, Private.
It's an oddly short-filled Chinook.
Hey, everyone, mitigate chatter on the intercom so fucking Chief Grayson doesn't get a headache.
That always happens when I'm near infantry.
Oh. Look who's next to me. Hey, Sergeant.
Khaki still is still
my name?
over to it.
Yeah. Hey, Private, I can hold him? Yeah. Your assistant will push team?
Just don't worry about it until we get off the bird, alright? Private Khaki. We'll figure it out then.
Come on.
Microphone muted.
Yep, that's how it always is, Steven. Looks like we're finally stepping off, though. We've got some PV1s tonight, which are, that's fine. It's good that these guys are here, but it always comes with this little share of issues, you know?
Microphone activated.
Less than a minute, boys.
3 copies.
Alpha, don't forget to have your assistant here shack up with you once we get down.
How did he switch teams?
Yeah, rejoin.
Alright. Everyone out?
Delta out. Alpha. Charlie north. Charlie out.
Bravo's out.
Mike is up.
Get on your feet, let's go.
Rally up on me, we're gonna be pushing west, change of plans, we're not gonna be going north.
Roger, push west.
Head southwest, hold that, get on line.
Heading southwest. Copy that.
Moving southwest.
Actual Alpha, TC in your last talking west.
We're gonna be holding southwest. We're
border target. This is lovely. I love it.
Private Rider, do you know how to give me ranges with your binoculars?
Charlie, he's in through day 1, we're good.
Rider. They don't teach them how to do it properly, though.
Make sure you're replying.
You heard me.
Transmit.
Got it.
You don't. Do you teach them how to get the elevation changed too?
Bravo copies. Welding.
Yeah, they don't teach them how to do it properly.
Oh, I should get on the concealment.
Rider, if you double click R.
Rifle squads, not weapon squad.
I teach them to do it the right way.
Thank you, parents. Somebody's teaching the youth.
Do you know how to give an indicated range on that?
Yeah, I should. The bearing, the distance, and the elevation.
Okay, perfect. Do you know how to do indicated range?
Get ready to push 274.
What's that mean?
We'll link up at
Bravo copies.
Delta standing by.
Gonna be pushing southwest.
Charlie standing by.
Could be northwest. TechNet.
Assume this means we're going.
Alright, let's start moving west northwest.
Alpha, go ahead and take us out west here, 274.
Alpha's taking us out west, 274, Charlie and Bravo on me. Charlie
Alpha's on point.
Bravo copies.
This is Delta, we're crossing path with some rifles. Roger, go ahead and slow it down then.
Alright, dropping down.
We'll just stick with the wedge. Bravo on my left side. Assistant on the right.
Copy.
Alright, we're rolling.
Moving.
One three is shoal holding, so you can stop it right here.
All things.
We're stopping right here. Find some hard cover.
1-4 is halting.
Alright, we're moving. 03 or 302.
Continue moving, Alpha.
Alpha's moving.
Copy 302.
Moving 300.
Go for 4.
Is there a rifle squad in your face, Alpha?
Negative, I got one off to my left.
Roger.
And the one on my right.
Is that you, Chief or Corporal?
All squads, ND.
I was an ND. Don't worry about it.
That was an ND.
Alpha cops.
Alpha, this is Delta. Can we get our assistants into some kind of wedge?
Received, I'll have mine off to my right side.
Charlie, go ahead and follow suit with them and get into the best triangle you've ever made.
Roger that. Getting the best triangle you ever made. Charlie's pushing right. Charlie's pushing right side.
And Alpha, now that we're on flat ground, we're leaving them in the dust.
Alright, I'm bringing it back down to walking.
Looking good so far.
Alright, we're gonna get in suit.
Knock on a tree when you walk by.
Hostiles bearing 340.
340. Roger, 340.
Alpha's peeking over the hill.
Roger.
You have contacts here?
Alpha's pushing up this rifle squad to reinforce.
Roger that, Alpha. Charlie's gonna be pushing on your right side.
Charlie, go ahead and bring it up to where I'm at.
Roger. Charlie's moving. Alright, follow me, guys. We're moving up.
Alpha has negative eyes on any movement.
Moving up on your left.
Roger, don't push out too far. Make sure you stay in line with people. And Charlie, I'm bringing you up to the top of this hill to basically cover our asses when they're moving, if they move to the southwest here.
Hey, firm, Charlie. Alright, guys, we're gonna push up on top of this hill, and we're gonna watch their asses.
The contact
Actual Alpha's becoming useless. We can't shoot over friendlies.
Just make sure you don't shoot over friendlies. Find some hard cover.
1-3 has eyes on shooters.
Negative, send it again.
1-4, this is Delta. Go for 1-4. The rifle squad we were trailing is about 150 meters in front of us now. Gotcha. Regroup on my position. We're gonna make a move. Copy.
Bravo southwest. Bravo, maintain base of fire.
Copy. On me, we're moving to Bravo Southwest.
1-3.
Yo.
I'm waiting for my Alpha section to regroup, and then we're gonna push across. Let's go.
Copy. We'll just maintain security in the middle of the town.
Space, if you want to look towards the 244,
Be
I
advised,
think there's a big gun.
we're preparing a big move.
Can't
We're gonna
see
be
it.
moving across the town.
Do
Be
you have
advised,
eyes?
hostiles on the other side of the hill.
Do you have eyes on it? I don't see it.
Actual bearing.
South, south, south.
South.
Contact south.
Copy south.
Start suppressing in that top of the hill. Bravo, just keep suppressing.
1-3, we are
I don't have eyes.
on that.
You don't have to have eyes with that big ass gun.
I don't.
Hold for now.
What's the bearing?
I'll get you a better one next time.
They were like 196 top of the hill, but I think
Roger.
they're all down
We
now.
want us to break off and move up.
Copy 196. Thanks, Sergeant Line.
Go ahead and begin movement to the edge of town south.
Moving south.
Roger, you want Alpha pushing out?
For copy. Moving right now.
Alpha
Bravo
pushing
copies.
into the town.
Roger. Alright guys, we're moving. Charlie's taking contact 262 top of the hill. I'm gonna try to get Bravo right onto it. 262 top of the hill. Give it a little bit more.
That netting is blocking shots.
Yeah, that thing is gonna rip right through it. Just fucking keep suppressing.
Actual is out. We're pushing to the west side of town to engage the north side.
Gotcha.
Get fire left. Alright, we're moving. Alright, we suppress those guys on top of the hill. I don't know if they're dead or not, but we're gonna be moving to you guys.
Roger. We're gonna be moving to basically Chulga, where that sign, like the fucking sign is. That's the idea here, get elevation into the rest of the fucking village here.
Go.
Roger, to the south.
Yeah, hold on that movement, just get to the edge of town, get ready to move.
Roger.
On me, we're gonna push on 4.
We're moving to the edge of town.
Copy.
Copy.
Actually, got two in the tree line. Two in the tree line. 271.
Go ahead and get lined up with Alpha on the road and start suppressing up on top of that hill.
Copy.
Clear.
Alright, begin moving up the hill, let's go.
Alright, we're moving up the hill. Alright, Roger. Alright, we're gonna be moving up the hill.
East, south.
To the south.
South is moving.
Actually, getting Sagan direction.
Moving south up the hill where that tool guy is on the fucking microdagger. We're gonna get sights out south of town.
Are we moving?
Reloading.
There's some guys up there, we might have to hold movement, just get these guys fucking dealt with first.
Bravo. Bravo, come
Go
over
for Bravo.
here and shift over here to me and then start looking 185. We got guys up the hill.
Copy. 185.
What's your guys' status on that northern side?
Crossing.
Pushing
Crossing.
to the tree line.
We're fine.
Roger that up. Alright guys, we're just gonna move. South 179.
What have you got to the south?
Friendly's
On you.
pushing up slope.
To the southeast.
Alright, good
Alright,
copy.
Bravo.
Is there any way you guys can start pushing south and kind of support the
Say again your last.
the fucking,
Yeah,
firing position
we're moving
at,
now.
Hill 228.
Copy.
For reference to follow break.
Up the hill. Time now.
123044.
Charlie's gonna wait up for Bravo.
Alright, Tango Mike, we got a fucking...
Good?
Yep. Good.
Good copy.
Alright. Once you guys seem to, like it's fucking clear up here, turn right and move west and get to the edge of this hill and try to aim down in the fucking town.
Alright, Alpha's
Charlie,
looking
copy.
west then.
Right now.
Alright, we're gonna move southwest a little bit. We're gonna get on the right side of Charlie or Alpha.
Mike, this is Delta.
Spread out. Get on the line.
You can hold
Watch
one in the
frogs,
town.
you got
We're
one
actually
in
about
front
to
of us.
Mike, this is
securing
Delta.
up this in like 30 Sierra.
Alright guys, start on a hard cover and start looking up the hill.
Delta, this is Mike.
Copy.
Yeah, I'm gonna regroup on you when we stop. I need some
Roger, we have pretty good
attention.
eyes out to the rest of the village.
Copy.
Sergeant.
Oh, keep it spread.
1-4. I need to.
Right here, Delta. Right here.
Oh,
Mike.
Roger.
That's it.
I think you're good to actually pull back your team now.
Alright.
On me, we're bringing it back.
Bravo, if you stay with Alpha for right now, and then I'll let you know when we're stepping off.
Alright, 1-4,
Roger.
just set up on this hillside right here. Provide security. Make sure you check in your rear. There might be some stragglers here. MG's face of the town.
Yeah, watch our backs. Watch our backs.
Roger.
Delta copies.
Charlie's gonna be pushing south a little bit. Look over this hill.
You're all good.
Thanks, Mike.
1-3 Alpha. I got eyes on a campsite.
Mike is back.
Anyone have eyes on where the fire's coming from?
God damn it.
Noise.
Delta negative.
Alright, regroup on me, I think.
PID, northwest. There's some friendlies going through over the hill right now.
Alpha
Delta
copies, that's on.
Bravo copies.
Delta has eyes on.
Charlie's watching our 6 to the south.
Roger. Good shit.
Crossing behind.
Friendly's pushing into the campground.
Roger.
Might consider setting us up a sandbag. The eyes aren't great right here, though.
1-3 is 1-4. Be advised, we actually have no real eyes on any enemy threats at this time from the hillside. We have good view of the town though at this time, so just let us know when you're finished cleaning the town. Over.
1-4, you agree?
Yeah, I can hear him talk.
Yeah, but I think I know friendlies at the top of the hill.
Sounds good to me. Waiting for your call. Over.
So they're engaging at this.
Hey, actual, I think they're blue and blue line up there. Negative, never mind.
Yeah, that's somebody shooting at them. They need to stop.
I got contacts coming down the hill onto the
Hold
campground.
fire,
to the
hold
northwest.
fire, hold fire, hold fire on the camp. Let fucking friendlies deal with that. You can't shoot over their heads.
I'm off to their right.
Actually, this is Bravo.
Dude, just chill it.
Received.
They're 467 meters out.
Disregard.
Yeah, I can't shoot over a friendly side like that.
Roger that.
This is 1-4, be advised, opposite of that green smoke, towards the top of the hill, there's people coming down on the southwestern side.
Roger.
Alright, not much we can do from here. We're firing over friendlies. So yeah, just keep...
1-1, you cut my last over? 1-1.
Actual, if I'm not firing over friendlies, can I fire?
Be advised, people are coming down the road, western side of that green smoke.
Good shot, Alpha.
He didn't respond fast enough.
That was a fine shot.
Check in, y'all good?
Somebody's got to go up there and help him out. Oh,
Yeah,
never mind,
don't
I see
worry,
it.
1-2's
Right,
up there. They're going.
Enemy moving on their position. There's
Keep
one
the
right
fire
to their
on the
right.
road only.
There's a guy with.
Tell
blue
1-2 to
the
look
right.
up the hill.
Look
I
up
know,
the
I'm
hill.
telling them right now.
He's moving to the rocks.
Yep, we're informing him.
There's
Oh,
been a
fuck.
sneaky bastard trying to crawl away? No, that's friendly.
A guy literally walked behind them.
What the fuck am I
man
watching?
down.
Alright,
This is painful to watch.
that was
It is.
terrible.
That was rough.
It is. The guy in the blue jeans walked past them straight. There's still guys straight ahead of them, 10 meters out.
I think
Go
he had
for
a
it.
conversation with him.
Roger, once you're set, we're going to be moving up on you to regroup.
Who's alone in the
Prepare to
campsite?
It's two.
Bravo copies.
We're gonna be moving west in a moment.
Roger, Charlie, copy.
Delta standing by. We're going to be moving out west in a second. Stand by for movement order.
Charlie's linking back up.
Roger.
Alright, begin movement west. Move up to 1-3's position.
Start moving west.
Alright, moving west to 1-3's position on the hill.
Bravo, hold and wait for us.
Delta copies moving.
Holding.
Alright. Charlie's moving.
They should be at that tree line. You should see some guys running around over there.
Did anyone actually clear through these buildings?
A-firm 1-3.
Copy.
Private Ryder, how you doing?
We'll wedge it up.
Fantastic.
1314, 15 Sierra, over.
Hey, if this geometric shape set's not up.
Alright, we'll go. We're going to keep pushing west here.
Bravo, push out a little bit right.
Alright, keep pushing past 1-3, Alpha.
3. Alright, we're passing 1-3.
1-3's gonna bring up the rear and back us up here. So we're just gonna run up this hillside here. Stay in the trees as best you can.
Charlie,
Copy.
We're picking up and moving.
Crossing! Crossing!
Bravo, make sure you're acknowledging
We're gonna
on,
meet on line with
SWAT.
1-2. 1-2 is approximately 150 meters straight west and then north.
Copy.
Delta copies.
Alpha copies.
Bravo copies.
Charlie, copy.
Basically, once this hillside starts to decline, just get set up on it.
Good copy.
Alpha copies. Alpha's getting set up on a tree.
Roger.
Bravo, go ahead and link up with Alpha. Just give it some space.
Copy.
Look good.
Bravo, do you want west to north or west to south? Bravo, this is Alpha.
Go for Bravo.
You want to look west to north, and I'll look west to south.
Okay.
Hey Delta, solid copy. They'll be to the south of the road.
Delta, I'm gonna move up to this rock right here, right in front of you.
Copy.
Alright, come up a little bit of these rocks.
Right now, 1-3 is kind of bounding up north past 1-2 and 1-1, and we're just going to be basically moving in a moment once that gets going here.
1-3 is bounding with 1-2.
Copy, hold.
Up to the north.
Be advised, the rest of the platoon is basically just north of us, within 50 meters up to about 150 meters.
Charlie copies.
Bravo copies.
Copy.
You want to be a little bit distance from me, that way if it hits me, it doesn't also kill you.
Let's push up, close this distance a little bit between us and Bravo.
Copy.
Is that air I hear?
That sounded like a GP right there, or a GL. Alright, this is what we're gonna do. Give me 1 second to figure it out.
We have friendlies 283 in between the tree lines.
1-3 and 1-2 are consisting on that road right now, to our northwest. The engagement came from the southwest. Appears that they've been dispatched.
Roger.
Copy.
Does not sound like that.
1-3, this is 1-4. Be advised, we're holding fast, waiting for you guys to get set up. Let us know
Yeah,
if we need
we're
to
waiting
push
here for a
urgently to
second.
your position if you get overrun. Over.
Okay, I hear Warlord.
Be advised, 1-4 is just gonna move because we have no eyes on anything, and you guys are getting about 200 meters out.
Alright, get ready to move. We're gonna be moving northwest.
We're moving
We're
north.
gonna be
Bravo
following
copies.
them.
Charlie copies.
Delta standing by.
We're gonna be at the last of the pack, let them run by.
We got a bunch of trees down slope, but the engagement that's happening is out of our sight line here.
Action, we good to move?
Alright, go ahead and move northwest.
Alright, Alpha's on point, northwest.
I just said we're gonna start moving right now.
Alright, let's get going northwest. Stay up on the right side.
Move to the sound of engagement here.
Moving to go.
Charlie copies.
Make sure you have a full house of cards here.
I like going in a half cock.
Go for 1-4.
Crossing.
Alright, 1-2 is right in front of us right here. We're just gonna push past them, get towards that engagement.
Alpha's on the road.
There is quite a bit of friendlies to our northwest here. 2 squads.
Friendly's direct front. 299.
Yep, keep pushing down the road.
Other side of the road.
Yeah, 1-4 pushing.
Alright, let's west. We're gonna go online with 1-4.
pushing down the road. Keep going. Delta's moving.
Sorry, Alpha.
I was crossing the right side.
Roger. Contact 277 uphill.
Actually, this is Bravo. Alpha's down.
Roger. Get off the road.
Bravo, look up 257 up the hill.
Copy.
We get to contact bearing 250. We're going.
Roger that. Bound as fire teams.
1-4 check-in.
Go for 1-4.
Just making sure you're alive.
You know it.
1-2 is 1-4. Be advised, we're dealing with one-time casualty. We'll be back on our feet in like 30
Guys, push right up to the top of the hill. Make sure it's clear.
Alright, we're pushing that hill.
Bravo, don't push out too far. We're gonna move up to you.
Copy, just getting cover.
Roger.
1-4, be advised. 1-3 is basically just right in front of us. Director fire.
Bravo copies.
Roger, who's off to our southwest?
Alpha's back up. I got the gunner on top of the hill.
1-4 Charlie.
Go for 1-4.
Who's to our left? South.
To our left right now is 1-2.
Okay, Roger.
Go ahead and pick up movement up the slope right now. West.
We can move. West.
Moving
Might need to
west.
stay off the road here.
Alpha's moving west.
Roger, Charlie's moving.
Danger close,
Alpha's
contact west, northwest from 1-1's position. 1-1's position is about northwest-ish, about 100 meters from us. You know the drill. Push up to the friendlies, get online with them, start engaging.
Charlie copies.
Delta copies.
Bravo copies.
Alpha's on top of the hill looking.
Crossing. We should have PID here. There should be friendlies to the north.
Can we push southwest a little bit more uphill?
A-firm, go for it. Do it.
Charlie, Bravo. We're moving up
1-3's up on
uphill.
the hill already. They should be able to provide security for you.
We're set watching north.
Roger
We're
that.
still about a body team in the trees. But we
Yeah, there are rifles up here already. We're just gonna get a little close. Yeah, tell them to get the fuck out of the way.
I think he got nailed.
Alright, make room for 240.
Oh, will do.
Make your own room.
Belly up, belly up, belly up.
It's actually displaced and moved to the left of Alpha. Displaced completely. Bravo.
Hey, Griggs.
Hello.
This is Bravo. We're displacing completely and moving to the left of Alpha. We've got 1-4 setting up a gun team to our position.
Good copy.
Oh no, this is terrible.
A-firm notified.
Be advised, 1-2 and 1-3 are on our current position. 1-1 is just north, about 150 meters separated from us.
We'll wait for some space to open up. Don't go in yet.
Roger, Charlie's gonna mingle to the northwest real quick.
Be advised, when
Alright,
1-1's
guys,
done
stepping
with
off.
the sweep, we're
Go,
gonna
Bird.
pause X.
Go, Ryder. Ryder, come on. Crossing.
Charlie copies.
Bravo,
We're gonna be pause X here soon.
Copy, I got Ryder.
Momentarily. Rifles down, orient, bearing
Right next to you guys here.
305.
Alright, pause
That's
X.
the order.
Alright.
And we have a pause X.
Safety's on, pause X.
Little fucking shit shack here, I guess.
Pause
Rally
X,
up.
safety's on. Rally up.
Right,
1-7, I got
condition
1-7
2.
pushing this little fucking
And we're pushing down, following 1-3 actual. Yeah, you were right, Lenko, I think.
Again, can't stress enough.
If we had
Safety,
continued,
safety, safety.
a few smoke grenades and moving
Roger
over
that.
2 lines to the south.
Delta copies.
Bravo copies.
Charlie copies.
Yeah, I just didn't expect it to be so.
Yeah,
so
green
narrow.
smoke here. Southeast.
Green smoke behind us.
Oh, to the green smoke. That's on.
Sergeant Perry, you alright
let's see.
running like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Just get a skull circle on me, guys.
Copy.
Bro's all here. No, we're pausing.
Alpha's present.
Bro,
Let me know when you're all here.
Bravo
Bro's
will be
all
off comps for about one
Okay.
mic, so.
Roger.
1-2's all here.
1-3 present.
1-4 all present.
1-1's all here.
You can, Sergeant Munson, you can go ahead and start off.
Roger that, sir. All right. So overall, guys, your communication was really good thus far. There's just a couple of reasons why I wanted this PAWSX. The first is that I think you guys are getting a little bit mixed up in your squad-to-squad movements. Basically, at times where we're looking for a base of fire, like a distinct base of fire element and a distinct flanking element, what we're seeing is just a mix of just people flanking randomly or not at all when they should be, and it's kind of just been all over the place a little bit.
Are you seeing that as it's happening?
Yes, sir.
Are you correcting it as it's happening?
That's what we're trying to do now, sir. We're trying to be hands off and let them kind of correct these things, but it wasn't happening, so that's why we're PAWSXing. Now, on a squad level, we need to make sure that we are getting it, like I said, a distinct base of fire element set up when we hit contact. It's basically just the same thing that you do on a squad level, just bigger. So essentially, whatever the lead squad is getting in contact first, you need to set up, get base of fire, hopefully have 1-4 close to you, and get them set up next to you as well, and form a firing line towards the enemy. As that is happening, the gear should be turning in the other two squads behind you that they need to get on that flank ASAP and start communicating that that's what they're doing. And this needs to be an entire well-oiled machine for it to work. So you guys have been communicating awesomely. I like it, but we need to be just thinking more critically about where we're moving ourselves, how we're maneuvering, and how quickly we're doing it. Does that make sense?
Stay firm.
Stay firm.
Who has Sergeant?
Different Sergeant.
All right. So, LT, did you have anything else you wanted to cover?
Thank you, Sergeant. The only thing I want to talk about is just watch your spacing, guys. The platoon itself is, in many of those instances, a lot of you are kind of all piled up on top of each other. So make sure you're looking at that. If you're looking around, there's a whole other squad right up on your dicks, then move yourselves. But just like Sergeant Munson says, we need to get those flanking elements and make sure those maneuvers are, actual. It's going to take you a little bit to flank around, right? Like, you don't want to just push right off the fucking flank of the other squad, because then you're going to get, possibly suppressed and pinned down, and now you're just part of the base of fire element, which is what I'm thinking Sergeant Munson's kind of alluding to here. So spacing, guys. Keep yourselves spaced out. Don't pile up on one another. We shouldn't see all four squads within a 250 meter radius of each other, because we were definitely seeing that a little bit. Right off the bat, you guys were clumped up, and then you guys separated out really nicely. And then when you guys kind of converged back onto that little encampment on that hilltop, the whole platoon was within about 150 meters of each other. So make sure we're spreading out, calling out the sectors we're covering, and then once you guys have eliminated the contact and you're not taking fire for, a minute or two, get moving. So, generally speaking, we want to move out on a platoon column, unless you guys feel safer being on the platoon line, but I would generally suggest when, moving out on a platoon column, that way you guys can effectively make these react to contact maneuvers. If you guys just get online with each other and push online during this entire fucking exercise, kind of defeats the purpose of fire maneuver in some cases. So keep that in mind going forward. For me, it was just a spacing thing. You guys are doing a pretty good job, like Sergeant Munson said, on communicating with one another. So that's not falling through the wayside right now. But spacing, squad leaders, make sure you're checking your spacing, making sure that your guys aren't intermingled with another squad, and also make sure that you've got your squad together. There were a couple instances where guys were getting pretty extremely separated from their squads. That's all I had on that. The other thing I wanted to address was the blue on blue situation. So there were a couple of guys that pushed up and started to assault that tiny little encampment, and then they were getting the fuck lit out of them by like two different squads. So I don't know where the breakdown in communication was there on whoever that assaulting squad was on not letting the rest of the platoon know, hey, I got guys assaulting that position, lift or hold fire. Okay, so that's basic rudimentary stuff, and we watched them. They got lit the fuck up. I believe Drum was up there, and they were just getting the shit shot out of them. And luckily, they popped themselves a green smoke, and Sergeant Munson had to come on the radio and be like, "Blue on blue, check your fucking fire." But that's a situation where that just really shouldn't have happened to begin with. The whole platoon should have known there were friendly forces pushing up on that position to clear, so that those covering elements that were in the back didn't do what they did and lit them the fuck up. So make sure we're paying attention to that kind of stuff. That is crucial to today's exercise and what we're doing. Sergeant Barton, you had a comment on that?
Thank you, sir. I did call for a shift fire on that position as they were pushing up. That's all I had. Thank you, sir.
Roger that, Sergeant. I might have missed that then. So if he did call shift fire, and then the rest of you guys were supposed to be aware of where those friendlies were pushing up in, then make sure that order is being executed. If you thought you missed it, make sure you ask. Say again. Shift fire where?
None of that matters to begin with because the failure comes from basic PID. Regardless of whether or not you got that communication, you didn't identify what you were shooting at.
Roger that, Cap.
Which was me, by the way. It was me you were shooting at. And I guess Yogi too.
Sorry, who had the other? Did somebody else have a comment? I missed it.
Specialist Yogi.
Specialist Yogi?
Thanks, LT. Just like the captain said, I was the second guy. During that, when we called out that we're being friendly fires, I immediately popped green smoke, and even afterwards, we were still being shot by friendlies.
And on that note, guys, not only was there obviously the PID issue, but I think the reason a lot of this happened was kind of mob mentality a little bit. There obviously was an OPFOR element that pushed right on top of them upslope. And I'm assuming some guys were trying to be, I guess, nice and helpful and kill them. But again, you have a friendly element just 10 meters below them, and you're firing over the top of their heads, which is mistake number one. But then other guys who may have not known that information just ran straight to step two, which was shoot everything in that direction moving. So you need to be cognizant of that and realize not only should you PID, but do not shoot over friendlies in any situation, because it causes issues like that, where even though you may have been well-intentioned, you're going to cause a lot of issues. In addition to that, I'll just pick someone. Sergeant Tabor, why do we use traveling overwatch?
Traveling overwatch so we can effectively keep up pacing while covering that element that's moving.
Sort of. Does someone else want to answer, I guess, a more direct reason why it's used?
I'll answer, Sergeant.
Go for it.
So the whole platoon doesn't get hit at one time.
Right. So traveling overwatch should be used on a team, squad, and platoon level. It essentially means you're keeping your elements separated, so that way you don't all get engaged at the same time, as the LT was kind of alluding to. For example, that fucking cord gun just over to my right here effectively stopped the entire platoon's movement for several minutes, which should not be the case. So traveling overwatch, like I said, means you got everybody separated to a point to where if the lead elements get engaged, the rear elements are able to pull around and perform a flanking maneuver immediately. So that should be your first follow-up upon engagement is, are you part of the engaged squad or platoon or whatever, or are you not? And if you're not, you should be flanking or doing something. But that's kind of all I had, LT.
All right, Sergeant Munson, thank you. That's all I really wanted to touch on. Captain Drumheller, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we keep going?
Yeah, I'll just reiterate some stuff you already said. The maneuver on that camp was great. I couldn't really tell where we were going as a member of a team, but then once I realized that we had flanked all the way around, I think we just moved all the way around that wood line from wherever we had been and came up On that camp from where? From the side? Yeah, from there, because that's the hilltop those guys came over. I'm pointing on the map if you guys are looking. So that was great. And then everything completely broke down as soon as we started pushing through the camp because of a failure of PID. Absolute, complete, total, and utter failure of PID. And then after the green smoke was popped and you guys lifted fire, do you think you were helping us by continuing to shoot those guys that were uphill 25, 50 meters away from us? General question. Do you think that was helping?
No, sir.
Negative.
Negative.
Negative. Was it preventing you from pushing forward?
Correct. It was preventing us from being able to move while we were down there. It was preventing our squad from being able to engage those contacts because you guys were shooting so fucking close to us and you had just been shooting directly at us, so we couldn't move at all because we were afraid you were going to shoot us again, even despite the green smoke that was popped right there, because first of all, you were engaging those targets, and second of all, the thing that Sergeant Munson brought up, which was the people who then started shooting, which is commonly referred to as contagious shooting, who weren't even PIDing the targets on top of that, because we started getting shot directly again, even after the green smoke was popped. So you guys shooting over our shoulders and over our heads from less than 5 to 10 meters to quote-unquote help us, you were not helping us. You made it so we were unable to maneuver. Another thing to touch on, so the maneuver was fantastic, and then that great maneuver just got completely wiped away by the blue on blue. Fill-in ranks, guys, when someone's filling in, even in a training, their quote-unquote rank is whatever the billet they're filling in. So don't address them by rank. If you're unsure, just address them by their last name when they're filling in. That's all I had. Oh, no, that's not all I had. Last thing. Havoc 1 HQ. Is this a mostly hands-off training, or is this a completely hands-off training?
Captain, this is intended to be pretty much completely hands-off unless
Okay.
it was a dire situation.
That's not what you went over in the briefing. You need to let these squad leaders know that you're going to be giving them no input, especially when you're seeing something going wrong and you're letting them fail. Like,
Roger that, Captain.
Thinking that you have someone up there above you who's overwatching, you know, everything and giving you guidance versus absolutely not is a big difference, and they need to be aware of that difference if that's the focus of the training.
Roger that, Captain.
Yes, sir. So which is it?
It is. We're staying hands off. The only thing I wanted Sergeant
Okay.
Munson to do was, you know, mass casualties or things like that they needed his immediate assistance with. But as far as any sort of movement orders and who's flanking, who's base of fire, and all that, we're leaving completely up to the squad leaders, 100%.
That's all I had.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody else have any C's or Q's before we continue this exercise?
No, sir.
Negative, sir.
Negative.
Roger that. So if you're not already, just go ahead and lock and load. Get yourself set up here, get in some cover, and stand by.
Let's go back up where we were.
Alpha
Bravo,
Bravo,
push back up.
1-2 back to our.
Head back up.
Alright, we're gonna head back up.
1-2, this is 1-3, and push my guys south.
Bravo copies.
Everybody seems to be headed back up this way.
That's where we were before.
Alright.
We'll fix it once we get set up.
Roger.
Damn it, I wanted that rock.
I'm gonna push a
I
little
got
bit
this
further
rock.
south, with Charlie.
It's my rock.
Bravo.
Yep. You guys can probably watch our rear for right now and just have one of our guys facing front.
Roger. Bravo, stay
Slide
with
up,
them, and then
get ready for more,
Charlie
just-
will head back.
Or Kurs.
Charlie, this is Bravo.
Kurs. Not Turs.
1-3, this is
Stand
1-4.
for Charlie.
I'm about 50 meters north of you.
I think one of your team leaders has the blue floor marker on him instead of you. Over.
We're gonna watch our complete rear.
Copy out.
There was
I see a guy right
grass in my way, and now it's not. So
I don't know what the status is of the enemy on that kind of stuff.
1-4, this is Bravo.
Send it.
Interrogative, are the teams directly to our north going to be moving? Should we keep Overwatch that direction?
Wait one on that one. I think we're just gonna keep Overwatch for right now. And
280 possible.
once movement begins, we'll start picking up ourselves.
Bravo copies out.
Movement 500 meters, 280.
Yeah, copy that.
280.
Eyes on. 1-2, they appear to be
Bravo copies.
Armed combatants at the base.
The specialist, let me, Thank you.
That's engaging. Alright, MGs, get over there.
You can engage. Please do so.
Delta, Charlie, move with me. We can get spread out.
Roger.
We're gonna be over here, Charlie. Alpha Bravo, go and pick up. Move with us.
Bravo copies.
Alpha's picking.
Alright, specialist, good luck.
Alright, we're gonna be moving west here to catch up to 1-2 and push through 1-2.
Roger, moving west, pushing up to 1-2, moving fast.
Go, go, go.
Bravo's lost eyes.
Bravo's moving.
No, we're good.
Unknown if there's a couple guys still up. Right.
Oh, right now, yeah, we're just spreading out though.
Alright, sorry, we're moving, west.
You got 2? You got eyes on 2?
Bravo copies.
Charlie's got your right side.
Actual, do you want us pushing past 1-2?
Wait one until I get eyes out on the situation here. I'm not sure what's beyond these set of trees.
Because I'm on them right now.
Okay, cool. Stack up with them, let 1-2 be lead the way.
Charlie's gonna hold right to northwest.
Make sure you get online, don't shoot past them.
Appreciate it, Sergeant.
Crossing,
Roger.
crossing.
Alright, get online with these guys and don't shoot past them.
There is some infantry targets, 271, about 400 meters.
Coming down to the base of the hill.
Northwest, there's enemies pushing up to 4-1 position. We can't really help them. They're pushing on them right now. Danger close. But just give you an idea what's going on.
Do you want to push Bravo and Charlie over to their position?
We would have to push across the open road. There's nothing we can do right now.
Okay, roger.
Nice
They
job,
got
guys.
1-3 with them as well.
Okay, they should be good.
Does someone just say my name?
Yeah, you see anything
There's
else?
no way when we're in contact.
No, I don't see anything else, but good shit anyways.
Nice work, guys. I want more to do.
That's what she
I
said.
want it all.
I like this tree better.
You want it all?
1-4, this is 1-2.
Med check.
Bravo's green.
Quick case report, guys.
1-4, this is 1-2, over.
I'm yellow on
John, can you drop the belt in my
5-6
back?
green and 80.
Roger that.
Be
Drop that.
advised, we were taking contact due west 260.
Actually, make it 2.
Yogi, if you need extra mags, I got a few extra mags I carry in my
Roger,
backpack,
my guys
so-
are already looking out that way.
Yeah, let me just quickly repack.
A-firm. Actual Bravo.
Send it.
Bravo
Right,
is
2 in your back.
green on ammo.
Hey, right,
for you,
Private,
too, Randy.
can you give me a range to the end of that road where it turns to the right?
Good copy.
Copy that, right one.
I can set you in the next session.
1113, be advised, 2 and 1-4 are holding position right now, providing security on that road coming in. Let us know when you're done with your movement. Try to push up.
Got anything on the right side of the right side of the road?
Turn left, like you said, Drew?
Over up.
Understood, 295.
Tracers.
Currently, 1-3 and 1-1 are northwest, approximately 100 and 150 meters out, engaging enemies on that slope here.
1-3 and 1-1 are northwest, 150 meters.
Bravo copies.
Out of the slope.
Bravo copies.
Are we shooting at anything?
Charlie's
Negative, there are rifles to our south. They're mopping up some stragglers to the west.
Roger, thank you.
Actually, this is Bravo.
That sounds like more like
Incoming, bearing 216.
Yep.
Unknown amount.
Down slope south, contact.
Bravo, peel off of Alpha, and we're gonna move south.
Bravo copies. Ryder.
Send for Alpha.
Ryder, where you at, buddy? Ryder! Ryder! With me!
Go ahead and set up base of fire going southwest here. 1-2 is pushing around.
Make sure you let these guys know we're crossing.
I got dinged in the butt.
Be advised.
Right behind you guys. Right behind you.
South right now. They're about 100 meters from my marker. South.
Let's go, Rainy.
Hey, firm. Charlie's on them right now in Bravo.
Gotcha. Don't push with them. We need to stay put, Revere. We need to
Roger.
get
We're just
security for
spreading
the
out.
road and also them.
Copy, Bravo's holding.
Copies.
Mike, when you have a minute.
Ryder, stay close on me.
Gonna need some pain management as well.
Sorry, private
Yeah,
Ryder.
if y'all have a good spot, just sit tight. Sorry, wrong. If y'all have a good spot, just sit tight.
What?
I threw a frag at them. I didn't see the frag.
I can't see Dick. Private Nicholson.
Yeah. That's one of those things with this terrain, dude.
I was in a great spot, man.
Yeah, can you see down from there?
Kinda.
No.
I mean, the problem is the slope is too aggressive and they got trees.
Yeah, it's close enough.
We got friendlies down here, and we need to be able to support them if shit happens.
Well, I can't support them from here with this.
We do have less.
Go ahead and pull back, Charlie, back to the road, and get security to the road.
Roger. Alright, we're pulling back.
Alright,
Bravo,
Ryder.
that's you as well.
Yeah, I got it. Bravo copies.
Charlie's here.
Alright, I'm gonna try to get 1-2 to move closer to the road, get security for us, and then we're gonna push up to the road ourselves.
Roger's you west.
Bravo copies.
Yeah, to the west. Get ready to move here once 1-2 gets set.
Private Ryder.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know how to deploy like sandbags and stuff?
I mean, with E2?
Yeah, with the Ace Interact?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. You don't need to do it right now, I just want to make sure you knew how to. We may need that later.
Copy.
Friendly's front.
Shaw, how effective are you right here? 0. Why are you sitting here? Should have moved 5 minutes ago. Let's go.
Sergeant Munson, I was waiting for 1-2 to get on that road, find security us. We're gonna cross this road, we're gonna cross this open field, we're gonna be kind of open.
Yeah, but why do you need security? No one's shooting at you.
Let's get moving.
We're moving.
Here.
Bravo copies. Alright, let's rock.
BTR 60 called up.
Bravo copies.
Charlie copies.
Bravo copies.
General direction west, I guess?
Yeah, west here.
Alright. Was that shot ineffective on it?
I'm trying to find out in a second here.
Alpha's gonna take the road. You wanna take the help, Charlie?
Alright, we have a BTR 60 up here.
Bravo copies. It's bearing.
I don't know yet.
1-4, this Delta. Send it. Is there a marker up for that BTR? Is it on a road?
Unknown. It looks like getting reback said it's saying it was hit with an AT4 and it looks like it's disabled.
Copy.
If it's gonna be, it's probably gonna be on that road here. I'll get a location on it. Alright, we're coming up on 1-2 and 1-1's position right up here. Get spaced out.
Actual, who's across the hill? Who's across the road from us?
Be advised, friendlies are moving into the VTR. Don't fire at the VTR.
Bravo copies.
Was there a BTR?
Delta copies.
Somebody called a BTR, I haven't seen it.
It's apparently immobile.
Hold here for a second, we're pushed up.
Alright, so everyone's just like clusterfucking here again, so I'm just gonna move out here east, and I'm gonna
Continue movement,
down the road.
302, push through.
Already up fucking 1-1 space north.
Are we letting them pass?
Bravo copy.
Yeah, one's gonna be pushing
we're
south.
holding
They're
here
gonna
for separation
basically handcuff us in the south here.
North at this time on.
Roger.
Correction, we got all fucking friendlies to our north.
Hey Charlie, I'm gonna move up this hill a little bit.
Alright, yeah, let's go.
Prepare to move. 1-1 is going to be taking up the front of this column here.
Actual, I was getting shots taken from the north.
Yep.
Charlie copies.
Hold fire, hold fire, hold fire, hold fire.
I think that might be friendlies.
Blue and blue again.
Jesus.
Shoots one more time.
Yep. Get ready to move. Regroup on towards my position. 1-1's gonna take us out here.
We've lost eyes.
Roger, we're just a little bit north.
Are you sure that,
northwest of y'all?
are you sure those are friendlies, Lenko? Stand by, he just called it out. He says there's also enemies in the trees.
1-1 is on the move.
Understood. Alright, stand by, pull them up, we're gonna get them.
Move which way?
Following.
Moving second in the column over.
Northwest.
Where do you see them?
Thank you.
Lenko, could you give an update to contract report? Are you by Mike?
Alright, we're gonna be fourth in the column. Once 1-2 starts moving, we're gonna.
They're gonna run 1 is currently southwest from our position, so we're just gonna be going southwest here. So regroup on my position ASAP.
Alright, guys. Roger. Alright, we're regrouping with
Alpha,
them.
go ahead and push past me and follow in 1-1.
We're moving. Charlie's on your rear.
Oh my good gosh. Getting cardio in today, boys.
Go southwest, you're heading west.
Southwest.
Good thing this gun isn't too heavy.
238. Get to the
Bearing
line and then
238.
follow the line, or around the line.
Delta copies.
Bravo copies.
Charlie copies.
Good shit, guys.
Here, Ryder. Slide out more to your right.
One for this Delta. We have eyes on 1-1 now.
Good copy.
I just overheard 1-1 saying they're doing a brief halt for spacing.
Roger, go ahead and halt it out then. I haven't heard anything on my end.
Bravo copies.
1-1's moving again.
Alright, pick it up.
Not 100%, but I think I heard audible. like
Yeah,
track?
it might. I think I did too. So keep your eyes peeled on it.
Thanks, man.
Eyes peely wheelied.
Dilly wheeling for those wheelies.
Got it in a general direction where you might have heard it, maybe?
Southwest.
Southwest.
Copy.
Sounds like an airy sound. It might be just a generator or something like that.
In a bunker under us.
Right.
It's a beautiful place, though.
It's gorgeous. I'm gonna just soak my feet for 2 minutes.
Yeah, don't get your socks wet.
Okay.
Short halt.
Short halt.
Roger.
We caught up with them.
Short halt.
Roger.
1-1, this is 1-4. Are you guys short halting or?
Yeah, Ryder, let's catch up with Charlie.
Roger, setting up danger crossing for us. We're gonna cross now.
Crossing.
They are setting up a danger crossing for us. Get the fuck across the road.
Roger that.
Bravo,
Alright, they're
copies.
setting up a danger crossing
Focus
for us. We're
crossing.
crossing the road. Charlie, copy.
Crossing.
Go, go, go.
Oh,
Shot
southwest.
coming from the west. Southwest. West.
Bravo, face west.
Charlie's crossing now.
Bravo's crossed.
Up the hill to the west, taking shots.
Copy. Be advised.
Crossing, crossing, crossing.
We got a gun truck.
It's bearing.
197, he's down.
Good shit. Charlie, this is Bravo.
Simper, Charlie.
Good flank.
Private Riders with me. We're about 50 meters north of you.
Roger. Just stick together up there. I'm gonna stay close to the road in case any armored traffic comes down.
Bravo, this is Alpha.
You guys see anything, Sergeant Lyon?
Negative. Just a tad.
Alright, I'm moving down.
next to that gun truck.
Crossing.
Bravo, this is Alpha.
Get on the line.
Go for Bravo.
How you doing on ammo? Do you need any?
I'm all green, thanks.
1-4, if you can push with us, that would be great.
Alright, I'll let my guys know.
Alright, pushing on 1-1.
Hey guys, 1-1 is pushing past us right now. Push up with them. Give the support.
I'm
Roger
in
that.
a f-
Bravo
They're gonna
and
be
Charlie are
pushing
moving now.
northwest. Good
Shot
shit.
pushing west.
Charlie's gonna stay closer to the road, just in case any armor contacts come in. Alright guys, we're gonna be pushing with them. We're gonna kind of stay close to the road.
Charlie, you guys are way far fucking southwest. Are you with some guys right now, or no?
Yeah, we only have like a 50-meter spacing from them. Well, we're in line with you guys.
1-4, this is Delta.
Go for 1-4.
The tree line kind of stops short of the crest here. I'm right on top of 1-1 again. We're gonna hold for a minute.
Roger, good shit.
Four copies.
Go ahead and short
Ryder.
haul here. 1-1 short haul thing. We're gonna short haul with them. We're gonna wait for 1-3 and 1-2 to push up here.
Charlie copies. Alright, we're gonna be short halting up here.
Bravo copies.
Go ahead and push up to this hillside if you need to. If not, if there's too many people, back off the hillside. Push more southeast, southwest, cover the rear, or the south.
Roger, I'm pretty far forward and I don't see anybody. Like,
Alright, just hold
friendly.
position here.
Over copies.
200 meters north, hostile bunker of 1-1's position.
I'm gonna hit it with HE.
Don't get bunched up. Once any base of fire, go ahead and reinforce them, but don't get fucking threat, like, mixed in with them. They have HE.
Med check.
Great.
One more. You there?
I'm out.
Right. You said you want HE on it?
If you fucking see it, light it up with HE, I let everyone know. Hold up. Hold fire, hold fire, hold fire.
Hey guys, we're pushing northwest. We're trying to find that AGS. Push northwest.
Roger that.
Standing by. Med check. Ryder, you good?
I'm good.
Mike, this is Delta. We're both fucked.
Charlie, do you have an HE shell on that? Or can you hit it?
Yeah, hold on one second.
Hold on that fire.
Mike, this is Delta.
Hold on that fire, hold on fire. Cass is coming in. Get cover. Get defilated here.
Get cover, get defilated.
On the right side of the clearing, they're going to be assaulting that
Is our mic down?
No, he's up. He's just not responding.
Roger, I'm moving to you out of CLS.
I got Mike with me, we got him.
Alright, Roger.
Stay in defilade, wait for Cass.
1-4, this is Bravo.
Stay in defilade. Cass is coming in. Bravo, step back a little bit.
Bravo copies.
Prepare for splash.
Prepare for splash.
Charlie, you got eyes on the sandbags directly north?
If you're not helping somebody.
Negative.
Alright, I got 2 enemy fire teams. It looks like no movement at the moment, directly north 001. From my pause.
2 fire teams, 001, sandbags.
Runner, won't move it. We're gonna be popping green smoke for Cass.
Bravo copies. Fuck me. Good for sitting up. Bravo's up.
Buddy? Hey, come back. Come back.
Yeah, I'm moving.
Hey, come back to me. I'll give you some meds.
Yeah, I'm moving.
Alright, lay down.
I'm working on my leg.
No, I'll get it. You stay up.
Alright.
You got a big gun.
I'm looking directly at green.
Yeah, you just look somewhere. I don't care.
Alright.
Alright,
1-4, be advised. 1-2 is being engaged by something to the southwest here. Get eyes out on it.
Send your last.
Fuck. Get southwest here. Being engaged by something that has probably a GMP on top of it or some shit.
Roger.
Alright, Ryder, let's move downhill.
Okay.
I'm pushing down southwest.
Yeah, stay close to 1-1's position, or 1-2's position.
Roger. 1-4, this is Mike.
Send it.
We got Alpha Team Leader KI.
Alpha Team Leader K, got it.
Right, keep pushing west down south. We're gonna be securing
Delta up.
We need separation from the fucking Brooklyn. We're up.
Bravo, might have eyes on that AGS.
1-2 is 1-1 over.
Delta, are you here?
Delta's green.
Gotcha. Let's go pick up movement. I'll report the KIA as well.
Delta's moving.
We're getting in contact directly west,
Mike, are you dealing
295.
with casualties right now, or are you moving with us?
Stacking up, guys.
We have 1-4 with you guys.
Roger.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bravo's pushing down slope to the west.
Stay in line, Bravo.
I'll cover you, Jim.
Alright, fucking Alpha, I just got fucking wounded to our probably west.
Sorry.
Let me know when you're good so I can...
On the left side.
Alright, fucking move with Alpha to our...
Confirm, we're all mixed in with them
fucking
right now.
southwest.
Roger. Thanks for that.
We can't brace to the north, get out of 1-4, we're all over the top of them.
Right behind you.
One copies. We are
Bravo's moving up to you.
west and securing that sector.
This is like a fucked up firing.
This sucks ass.
Please, good.
I should be good after this bandage.
Alpha's just about on you.
Roger, hold there. Negative, push to the road and then hold let the road push up.
North here.
1-4, this is Delta. Send it. The map trace goes northwest from here. I think you guys are following a longitude line.
A-firm, I am aware. I'm just trying to back up 1-1 here.
Copy.
I see the road, there's nothing on the road.
Yep, we need to push up north. Let's push behind 1-1's position and push around them to the northeast. Don't cross their lines.
Bravo
Roger, I'm
copies.
pushing back up north. Alright, we're pushing back up.
Delta copies.
Ryder, if you hear, you know, if I say something, just make sure you acknowledge it so I know that you're not dead.
Copy.
And they give you some radio experience too, so.
Private Rider, a good habit to get into is just always respond over the radio.
Yeah, even if it's fucking retarded, just respond to it.
Roger.
Doing a good job though. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're the best PB1 I've seen yet.
Yeah, that's 1-4 firing.
Charlie's pushing up to Delta.
There was a rifle squad in front of us. They've pushed out. I can't see them anymore. They've lost them in the trees.
Roger. The 1-2's up north about 150 meters, and 1-1 is still about 150, 200 meters behind us. I'm telling him to push it up north right now.
Roger.
Be advised, 1-3 is a bit further than 1-2's position, about another 100 meters.
Copy. Charlie, copy.
Keep roughly following the line here, and you should be linking up with 1-2 in a moment here.
Roger, Charlie is pushing 313 bearing.
Bravo copies.
Copy.
Reloading. Back in.
If it looks like I'm hanging back, it's because I am. I'm trying to keep eyes the best I can on 1-1, make sure they don't get swamped by something.
Roger that.
Do you want us to slow it down?
Yeah, that'd be good. In fact, you might be able to short halt right here because 1-2 and 1-3 are to your northwest or northeast now.
Holding.
1-2 and 1-1 are to our
Let's
northeast.
just hold here and see if 1-3 and 1-2 needs our help. If not, then we're just gonna wait for 1-1.
Copy. Northeast, send me.
Bravo's holding.
Microphone muted.
Yeah, Tyler. From what I understand, they're putting Arma 4.
This is 1-4. Be advised, we're just holding
Sorry,
short
they're
to your
putting
south here, waiting for
Arma
everyone to
4
catch up.
on the current
So
Daisy
please
engine.
push up to anything.
So whenever that gets released, if it gets released, it'll be nice to have an
Go
update.
phone 4.
But I hope everybody's enjoying this so far. It's been pretty hectic. Unfortunately, I'm pretty combat ineffective. I just can't get any kind of sight lines to do much. So I know it's not too great from my perspective at the moment, but I'm limited what I can do about it, for at least now.
Mike, what do you need?
Microphone activated.
To go check Delta.
1-4 Mike, this is Bravo.
One 4 Charlie.
Go for 1-4.
Are we down to 240?
A-firm at this time. We're getting another reinsert going here.
Roger that.
1-4, this is Bravo.
No. Don't worry about it.
Roger that.
Alright, Bravo, you're the only 240, so when shit starts kicking off, just find a focused spot and get eyes out as fast as possible.
Yeah, we'll do.
You went to last to first. Welcome to your step up there.
Infield promotion, yeah.
Yeah.
1-4, this is Bravo.
We have friendlies, 310.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead and pick up movement northwest here.
Roger, picking up movement 317.
Delta's moving.
Alright, right around me.
317.
Copy, 317.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Wait, one on that one again.
You copy, Ryder?
Copy.
Platoon net.
Sergeant Shaw,
Yeah.
should I attach up with Alpha for the time being? As the only 240?
No, we're gonna have a reinsert coming in a second right now.
Solid copy.
Just stay where you are with Charlie here.
Copy.
All stations be advised, red 4 marker placed on microdagger break. 1412, 1412. It's up north. It's a fortified position.
Charlie, copy.
Bravo copies.
Correction on last. It might be a squad here.
Delta copies.
One 4 copies.
World's tallest damn hill.
Alright, we're coming up at 1-3's position. Just hold position right about now, Charlie.
Right. Charlie hold. Or Delta hold.
Charlie, hold.
Bravo copies.
1-3 is moving at weapons down jogging pace, so if you guys can match that, we'll be good.
Matching. Bearing is 324.
Yeah, they're following the line directly here.
Okay.
Hey Charlie, I'm catching up. I'm pretty heavy here, so.
Roger that, Bravo. Just do what you can.
1-4 this time.
Yeah, I'll be online in
Send it for Delta.
5 Sierra.
Send it for 1-4. That's what I meant to say.
I don't know how to say this, but this is training. We are going to get some armor to shoot at, right? At some point.
I really hope so. They took away our 1 VTR, so let's look forward to having at least one more.
Over 80. It is what it is, though.
Right. Bird is coming in from the northeast for a reinsert.
Bird's coming in from the northeast for reinsert.
Bravo copies.
short halt.
Delta holding.
Alright, picking it up. Did that for you, Bravo. Try to get you up here. Run at an angle up here.
Yeah, I am.
Go for 1-4.
So much hiking.
Roger that. We'll be posting up where you are at in just a jiffy here.
1-3 is posting up on that hillside right there to get eyes out on that marker I called it earlier. They're gonna see if they can spot anything out, and then once we get up there, do the same.
See if they can spot some armor for us to kill. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You better be saying your thank yous, Private Ryder. We're doing this to help you pass your OSUP PT test.
Copy your last.
It's extra credit, right?
That's right.
Alright, start scanning every direction here. Make sure not to get too clumped up here.
Bravo's got west southwest.
Bravo's got contact 290, 400 meters in the tree line, walking left to right. Squad size patrol. Contact squad left to right 300.
That's a negative. We just got a
left to right.
Oh, excuse me.
Squad size 290, left to right.
If you can see the machine gun,
solid reback.
Focus on him when we light him up. And give space to
We got a range on 290.
400 up.
Copy all.
Do not fire. Let's wait for 1-2 and 1-1 to get better positions.
Roger, 1-3 is getting in line right now.
Right behind the surgeon line.
Yeah, it's not a good spot. This tree is.
I can't see nothing. Do you see this? These 290s?
I'm seeing them, but I think it's this tree that's blocking them.
Okay.
Back on station to your southeast, headed northwest.
Yeah, I can't get eyes on anywhere, man.
Last you back.
Charlie, you got eyes on this 290?
Was that for us? 1-3.
Negative.
Spot out what you can, and make sure you keep eyes on it.
Go for 1-3.
Duke.
Yeah, if you push north, you should have good defilade to wrap up on those targets. They're in the.
Let me know if any of you guys lose eyes on that squad.
I don't have eyes on them to begin with.
Yeah, lose eyes. I haven't seen them. I've never seen them.
McLennan, did you are you able to get a thermal sweep up?
Once you be advised, they've walked.
Charlie, you're right in my line here.
Crossing the ridge over to the right.
Swap you.
Moving across that saddle.
Wrapping around the hill.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're climbing up.
Yep, they're going up slope.
Oh, you're right there.
They're going up slope.
They're right over
Point them out to me if you see them.
All stations. This is
What's
Bravo.
happening here?
Most of my team has lost eyes. They're going up slope 310.
Cook, they're down 306 going up slope.
306 going up slope.
Roger.
Yep,
Got the
300 meters from our boss.
300 meters from our boss.
Team 2.
I got eyes on.
Anything you can to space out
Alright,
Alpha.
I'm gonna read you guys the info here.
Throw a grenade if you have to.
Orange trees, top of the trees. 1-3's about to initiate. Once they initiate, start following.
Alright.
Bravos already have eyes on and ready to engage.
400.
Yeah, it's
Like 400
meters
meters to my west. I'll send
Bravo copies. I'm eyes on.
Where are our assistants? Why don't we have sandbags?
Send it.
Get us some sandbags here. Put one in front of Bravo.
Got it. Gonna light them up.
Mike will not go that far.
Stand by.
You're 400. It's a 350 meter range.
Alright, you see that gap?
1420.
Yeah.
I bet they're waiting for that.
Red 4 marker popped up. 1420.
Too far?
About 400 meters.
Hey, I've lost them in the trees. You see them?
Yep, just keep looking left.
Gonna set up some sun guns for you guys, Bravo.
Yes, please.
Tracers,
Go, go, go.
light it up.
Loading. Come the fuck on.
We're
sandbag down, please?
Copy, moon to you. You said get rid of the sandbag?
Hey, firm, why the fuck would there be a sandbag up here?
Because we have no cover.
Stop your sandbags. Get rid of this one.
Reloading.
Do you see me in your sandbag?
Don't get too bunched up. Try not to get too bunched up, guys.
Bravo.
Do we see any more targets here, or are we just shooting at these fucking trees?
I think everybody's just shooting into the trees, honestly.
Alright, hold your fucking fire.
Hold fire.
Bravo, copies.
What people are shooting at right now are a point of origin for tracers. Tracers just came out of there.
Lieutenant, do you have eyes on?
Hey, I'm holding until someone points out targets.
Copy.
Yeah, good idea.
It's impossible.
We got any thermals?
I don't.
That's about it. We had eyes on them.
One forward, Charlie.
Draw area. They were kind of walking up.
Can we get a thermal scan?
I guess.
Hey, firm, working on it.
Hey, 031 in the opening.
1-3.
301?
Yeah, 301, now 298, 400 meters, moving down slope from right to left. One
Bravo
time.
squad infantry, 2.
Bravo's eyes on.
One side
Three,
element,
three
287.
line. How many guys again? Just one, copy. Just one infantry there.
Alpha, how's it hanging over there?
Hills are hard.
286.
Well, you're missing out on a lot, it looks like.
Good shoot, Bravo.
You need to make a 240 that weighs less.
Be advised, 1-2 is moving down slope northwest. Watch your fire.
1-2 is moving down slope of us, watch your fire.
Bravo, copies.
Or Charlie comes.
They should be down enough elevation for not to be in a fear of us, but if they start pushing on that northwestern side towards them, we're gonna have to check our fire.
Contact Z305, moving down slope.
We got our base. Be advised, 1-3 is pushing off this hill, following off 1-2, alright?
Roger, 1-3
Where's
moving.
where the base of fire from this point on?
Alright,
Pick
we're the
up
base
back,
fire,
back.
this point up.
Good
Check
shit.
fire.
Where do you need me?
Get on the hillside west by my location.
Coming to you.
Alpha, this is Bravo.
Check your fire, check your fire. He's popping green smoke on location. It's possible green, blue and blue. You guys see the green smoke?
Bravo, copies.
Don't shoot at the green slope.
Yeah, shoot to the bearing of 273.
This is Bravo.
Send it.
Send. For Alpha or actual?
For Alpha,
I
Alpha.
Send it for Alpha.
You have your assistant throw me 1 or 2 belts.
Yeah, for
Johnny, someone put
Roger out.
Alright, hold
Come back
fire
over
here.
here, Bravo. A
Hold
couple
fire.
belts.
Roger.
Hold fire, we're gonna pull off the hillside, move with 1-1.
Bravo's holding.
Bravo blue.
Roger, we're moving west.
Pulling down to your position, follow behind you. We're ineffective.
Bravo, do an ammo check. Now be a time to reload.
Who needs the extra ammo, guys?
Alright,
Spears! Spears needs extra ammo.
Roger, moving southwest.
correction, move
Just
west,
1 or 2.
basically, follow the line.
Alright, start moving down
Roger,
slope
moving
west.
west. Are we moving? Moving west.
Moving west.
Let me know when you're done so I can move.
Set. Go.
Thanks, John. Bravo, John.
Roger.
Bravo stepping off.
Bearing's gonna be 272.
1-1's about approximately 300 meters plus out from us. 1-1 and 1-2 are northwest, approximately 200, 250
1-1
meters
and
out.
1-2 are going to be west, northwest.
Bravo copies.
Charlie copy. Is that Warlord out here off to our south?
Could possibly be. Alright, bring it down more to the west here. You're closing up on 1-2 and 1-3's position. We're gonna back up 1-1 on this one.
Roger, are they almost on the line?
Yeah, they're almost on the line, about approximately southwest, westish, about 100 meters from us.
Roger, change of bearing to 256.
Don't move towards them, we're just gonna move on line with the last platoon. Stay on the line and move about another 50 meters on the line here.
Roger, 50 meters.
Yeah, just get to the top of the hill here.
Roger that. New bearing is going to be 289.
Good shit. Go ahead and spread it up north here. Let them take that little spot they have. There's a fire team supposed to be up here.
Hey, firm, I found them. I'm moving 008.
Roger, us, Mike. Alright, is this place all the way down to 1-1?
Can do.
Squad size element 300, about 600 meters.
Hey, Private Rider.
Seen it.
Look behind you and switch spots with me, would you?
They appear to be on markers 1424. Blue 4 mark, basically northwest here.
Buddy.
No problem. No eyes on armor inside the town.
Do you have good eyes from where you are, or are you just seeing them through the thick of the trees here? Over. 1-4 copies. In that case, we have to move a little bit closer for 1-4 to start engaging.
Private Rider.
Yeah.
You see that church bearing 253?
I'll send it.
BTR 80. Not 80 Alpha.
Can you grab me an adjusted range on the front door?
From that area. 1-4 copies, related instructions. We're gonna be probably having to...
Range is 1106.
Copy, thanks.
Don't have any bearings on
Where is it?
Blue 4 markers, or red 4 markers, 1424 to the town northwest here.
That's going to be
in that area.
About 310 from here. We're not going to be able to see it. It's the other side of the ridge.
Roger.
You want us to move to that? Or you want us to move there?
Wait one. I'm gonna try getting moving here. Prepare to move. We're gonna move down slope into these trees and get around the ridge line here.
Roger, west.
Yeah, most likely. Waiting for comms to not be fucky so we can move.
Roger.
I know. New marker 1431 for the BTR.
All stations, be advised 1-4 is going to commence movement to this next ridge line. See if we can get eyes out on that BTR. Over.
Go ahead and pick up movement northwest here.
Delta's moving.
Bravo's moving.
Charlie's moving. Bravo.
Alright, let's start pushing down slope to the 307. Air assets are rifle on that fucking armor piece. 1-3 copy.
That was the sound of the BTR being destroyed by air assets. I'm fucking sorry. God damn it!
Damn. Fuck. Alright.
Oh wait, no. Apparently that was a different BTR.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Apparently. I don't know. Maybe we know someone's on the same page here. We'll find out soon.
Okay, fair enough. I see what's going on.
Better stop being a tease, actual.
I like to try not to.
I want to see the whole nipple.
Alright, lock it up.
Right.
Well, that is the bearing and about the distance, maybe, that the original one was marked.
Yeah, maybe there was a second one that air assets spotted out, and maybe that was the one we just fucking dealt with. I don't know. There's 2 explosions, and I only know about 2 BTRs, so I'm kind of annoyed.
Alright, we're coming up on squad now.
Yep.
Current branding is 300, moving northwest.
Do you want us to continue to hold or keep pushing? Sorry.
Delta, you might need to. You know what? Actually, stay with 1-3. See if you can get eyes out that way. That way we can separate our mods here.
With Delta.
Copy.
Right.
Alpha's running with Delta.
Good ship. They're pushing even more northwest.
Copy. They might have a better angle depending on how this hillside's gonna go. And honestly, it looks like we're pushing like basically 2.
I'm hearing yelling enemy infantry west.
Roger.
Go for 1-4.
I am determined to find this.
Rider, you good?
I'm good.
Get low. You're on your own over there. Get low.
I don't have any eyes. Can I move north a little bit more to these broke down buildings?
Be careful. Blue 4 is not in these buildings yet.
The dude right in front of me.
Delta's Alpha, let's move to the edge of the tree line to the west.
Hey, danger close, 50 meters, 311.
Go for 1-4. Go for 1-4.
Alpha, this Delta, you okay?
Alpha's trade.
1-4, you good?
Charlie, Bravo, get stacked up on me. We're gonna be pushing west here.
Hey,
Copies.
I hear that auto cannon.
Alright, let's find that fucker. Let's go. West.
Rider, stick on me, buddy.
Wonderful.
I'm reloading.
We need to push up into this church.
Again, Delta's again, your target's at the church. We gotta keep pushing west here.
Yeah.
Friendlies on the southwest here. Back up. Stop.
Where is it?
Mike, you good?
Direct front. Back, let's clear. Charlie's down.
Actual, this is Bravo. Charlie's down. He's up.
Delta, are you guys up? Delta.
Smoke out.
Delta or Alpha?
Who the fuck is launching rockets without clearing them? God damn it.
You good, Bravo?
Yeah.
I had to. He was about to shoot on it.
All good.
Actual, this is Delta. Delta, you guys good? Actual, this is Delta. Sergeant Lyons. Logan's the only one up. Over. Roger.
Hey.
Ryder, you good?
Mike, get on me.
Ryder, move up to those rocks. Get up there with Khaki.
PS5, I'm having a
You're okay. Yeah, just keep it to yourself and then get into a tree.
I have no eyes. I have no eyes.
Mike, I need to get my position ASAP.
I was bandaging.
Alpha, Delta, status support. Delta's one down.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Here, I'm getting in your backpack.
In mine? Yeah, I'm gonna need blood at some point.
Is it that bad? Hold on.
Yeah, I've been bleeding for a while.
You're good.
Because I've lost blood, I'm good for now, but
Yeah. Sorry, man.
no, I'm functional. It's all good. I'm just saying, at some point, it's fine. If we run some more hills and stuff, I'm sure my blood will rejuvenate.
Oh yeah.
Private Ryder, good. What's going on?
1-4, you good? 1-4 checking.
Target north. We got friendlies up there. Eyes on it.
Hey, we're pushing back to 1-4.
Delta back up.
1-4, are you up?
Hey, Verm, sorry, I was dealing with casualties at the time.
Oh, fuck, I almost had to step up. I thought.
Alpha's currently down.
Are we clearing this,
Genres up.
this church out?
Bravo, this is Delta.
Go for Bravo.
I'm moving back with your assistant and Charlie. Just regrouping with them.
Bravo copies out.
1-4,
Charlie,
this is Mike.
I need you to take the reins here.
Requesting check-in. Say again, 1-4?
Charlie, take the reins right now. I cannot. I'm having difficulties here.
We need to do something. We can't keep sitting here.
Let's push it clear.
I'm on you, line, Sergeant.
Strike friendlies are in there already. Watch the left side. Front left.
1-4 squad. This is Mike. I need to check in. Yep.
Bravo's green.
Everybody start pushing up to getting in line with everybody.
Copy, I'm pushed up with Alpha here.
Get inside this church.
I'm underneath you. I'm underneath you, Sergeant.
Yeah, sounds like he's down.
Let's push.
Okay.
We're crossing and take care
Alright, I'm gonna see if I can get in that watchtower.
This is Alpha. We're pushing
I wanna get in
across
here.
these other buildings.
Alright, this is Bravo. I'm gonna try to get up in the tower up in this church.
Looks clear.
Good talk.
Alright, I can't.
Send it, 1-2.
That's clear.
Yeah, there's just one guy hiding out in the ruins. We killed him.
Alright guys, we're gonna set up to the northwest.
A little bit to the fucking west.
Everybody can hear you whispering,
Northwest,
Sergeant.
Oh, no, don't worry about it.
I know, I'm playing.
Send your traffic Alpha.
We got a cash in the church.
Charlie, I'm back on station.
Yep.
Roger that, stepping up.
Probably want to call it up. Probably blow it up.
No, just him.
But I'm not allowed to say anything, so I'm just gonna sit here.
Yeah, what's up?
Cache in the
Alright, Bravo.
We did identify a
Charlie.
situation inside the church.
Let's look out west. Try to get eyes. South.
Yeah, copy. Bravo's are looking west.
Identified a weapons cache inside the church.
On the north side of the road.
If you get on the west side of the road, there's some rocks over here.
Copy, moving.
Yeah, I'm gonna mark it on the fucking dagger. Just get set up on the other side of the road.
Some white smoke over here. One for you, back on station.
Affirm.
Okay. We have white smoke,
240 in.
231.
Alright, I'm moving up to regroup your position with time right now. Let's just hold position, get security going on.
Roger that.
Alright, hey, I'm repacking real quick.
Bravo, you picked up the straggler here from Alpha?
That's affirmative.
Where's Darby at? I see him.
We might want to just call it. Stay set up on that northern side of the road. Yep.
Hey, give me eyes to the fucking north.
Ryder. Private Ryder. Go ahead and put one of those HEs, or the Heat 75 in my bag. Oh, we're indexing. We're indexing.
Guys, we're index. Rally up in the middle of the road. So
4, sorry.
1-3 copy.
Condition for your weapon.
Condition 4. Condition 4.
Alright.
Bravo's condition 4.
Rally up, index.
Yeah, well, yeah. Everybody was running up on everybody.
1112 KI count. Can you hear me now, McGarry? Hello?
Let me know when you're all here.
Okay, I think I've sorted it.
Understand you 1-1. Alrighty.
Well, that was
Would you say desiccated? The fucking things are
was quite rough, in all fairness.
Yep. Reaching Charlie.
Nice patrol, though. Can you give it to the Zeus?
I'd say that.
You gave us a challenge.
Khaki. You did good. Alright, 2 KIs total.
Bravo, let me know when you're all here.
Bravo will be there in about
Good shit tonight, guys.
Good copy.
Great job tonight, Private Ryder.
1-2's all here.
Yeah, no shit.
One's over.
Thank you.
1-3 present.
I was waiting on
2.
Roger. 1-1's all here. -1.
Yeah, Roger that. If you have any guys that are back at base or otherwise, just let us know and we'll get them here.
1-1's all here.
Alright, LTA. Should be everybody?
Yeah, I believe so. I just did a double check. Alright, Havoc 1. Quick stand up if, stepping out of immersion here real quick. Stand up if you're experiencing technical issues throughout this exercise. Specifically desyncing. Alright, so those of you that are kneeling, everything was fucking kosher for you?
Affirm. Firm.
Okay, go ahead and take a knee. So I'm going to apologize throughout this entire exercise. Myself and Captain Drumheller were trying to figure out some issues that were going on. By the looks of it, it looks like half of us were affected and the other half weren't. So my apologies if for those of you that were experiencing that, and it's actually why we actually called Index here. It was just becoming too much for some people. So we'll just get right into what we did do today and what we saw. Obviously, for the most part, I think you guys were actually doing a really good job with communicating. This exercise is not meant to be an easy one. With no real clear objective, with no sort of, big input from myself or Sergeant Munson. I do think you guys were making a cognizant effort to understand the base of fire and maneuver elements. To me, the biggest thing tonight that we need to improve on as a platoon is going to be the spacing. Definitely a lot of times where we're getting intermingled. We were seeing multiple squads pushed together, basically in one big sort of tactical clump. That happened a few times. So we need to be able to recognize that and push ourselves off. I know you squad leaders, a lot of times you might be looking at your Android and you might see, oh, well, our markers are spread apart. but where are the rest of your guys? Where's that other squad's rest of their guys? And being able to identify that and spread the fuck out. Had we taken, IDF, or I know we took that GMG fire, those situations are why we want to keep it spread so that the entire platoon doesn't get locked down. Overall, though, I think it went well. Actively communicating with each other, trying to game plan, trying to cover one another, but the spacing stuff and making sure you're not running in front of the cover elements. I saw that a couple times tonight. I saw it once even after a squad said, "Hey, we have base of fire for you," and then the other squad said, "Roger, we're maneuvering time now," and then that maneuver element ran right in front of that covering element they just spoke with. So those are situational awareness things that not only do we need to utilize our GPS and our androids and the assets we have to fight, but we need to use the most important thing is our fucking eyeballs in front of us. It's kind of that was the whole point of our last FTX cycle on Roche. For those of you that weren't here, we were not allowed to use our GPS equipment at all. So we had to find each other and keep track of each other out in this sort of terrain with no GPS. So now that you guys are still utilizing those things, I don't want you to stop actually analyzing what's in front of you on the battlefield as a leader. So keep that in mind. Overall, though, the communications I do think is where it needs to be. I can understand it can be a little confusing sometimes when there's not somebody sort of in charge, if you will, to give you sort of some of these movement orders. But that was the exact reason why we wanted to do this exercise today. We wanted to kind of see and let loose with the squad leaders to see what you guys come up with, how you guys communicate without any real input from myself or Sergeant Munson. I do think overall that you guys adapted and overcame what you guys went up with here today. I apologize that we cut it a little short because of the issues we were having. Hopefully we can get that shit squared away and figured out. I'm not sure what's going on. We're still investigating into that. So, in all honesty, I was really busy trying to do that and take care of a bunch of the other issues you guys were having on the ground. So that was actually eating up quite a bit of my time during this exercise here. Sergeant Munson, I'll let you kind of elaborate since you were running with the ground with these guys all night or all day.
Sure. Thanks, LT. So, couple other things just to touch up on. Like the LT said, really good work on communication overall. But I think we may have had another blue on blue incident in the, I guess, previous engagement before this town or ruined town. I think it may have came from 1-3 or 1-4. Does anybody know if that's true?
Sergeant, I believe it was from 1-3. One of my guys swore he saw someone wearing a boonie hat and a green jacket, and maybe he did, but they were friendlies in way too close to proximity.
All right, well, I was definitely not wearing a boonie hat, and I got shot a lot, so... all right. So, yeah, just, again, we already talked about that. Just please, PID. We don't want the mob mentality of, well, someone else is shooting that, that guy or that direction, so I'm just going to start lighting it the fuck up, too. So, because that, as the captain said before, that'll spread across an entire squad and multiple squads, and before you know it, like, a whole squad's getting lit the fuck up by everybody else. But in addition to that, so another thing I wanted to kind of touch on was, because we talked about in our first Pause X, we talked about how if the lead two squads are going to get engaged, they're going to set up base of fire, and then the rear two squads are going to maneuver. Now, the next step of that process is, well, what happens when, the assaulting squads have cleared that initial contact and are now getting engaged themselves by, let's say, another direction or another contact or something, because that happened tonight. And so what I saw happen a whole bunch is that they, I guess, just kind of rolled their previous assault into that one and just kept pushing forward into the enemy in a super ham-fisted style. And we don't want that to happen, okay? The battlefield's really dynamic, so if you're the assault element and you come under new contact that you weren't previously clearing out or maneuvering on in the first place, you need to dig your boots in the ground, and then now you are the new base of fire. and then the 2 squads that were previously base of fire, so let's just say 1-3 and 1-4, you guys are now going to maneuver on that contact, and it's just like a fine fucking dance. You guys are just going to go back and forth, maneuvering on contact if it keeps coming at you guys. And that's how you're going to move, pretty much. Does that make sense?
Affirm, Sergeant.
Okay. Because, yeah, I just saw 1-4, and I forget if it was 1-3 or whoever. You guys were kind of just, like, hanging out back there for a solid second, and you weren't really able to support or do anything because you were so far back that it was kind of pointless. So at that point, you need to recognize kind of the situation you're in, and you got to become the support or the maneuver element at that point. What else? The LT also mentioned the kind of tactical blob. There are also a couple times where you guys were kind of just rolling through an area as a tactical moving line thing, and yeah, it was kind of tough to watch. So that kind of was what I was talking about, where you guys kind of just mesh your previous assault into some new contact you were receiving, and that's kind of what happened. But I think that's all I had. I think overall you guys did do some really good maneuvers tonight. So keep up the good work. Oh, one other quick thing, sorry. There was also a couple of people I heard breaking immersion, so please don't do that. Again, I shouldn't even say please at this point. Again, do not do that. I kind of yelled at you when I heard it in the field, but just please watch what you're fucking saying. That's all I had, LT.
Roger, thank you. One other quick thing that I just wanted to mention as well in regards to just speaking on like the tactical blob issue. Even, this goes down to the fire team leaders. If you just as a squad, if the squad leader orders everybody get online, it's important that not only the squad leader and the other team leaders actually wait for the rest of the element to actually get online before you start moving. This has been something I've seen a little bit from time to time. I saw a little bit of it tonight. Make sure that the guys around you are actually set before you start making movements like that. If you're going to move in a wedge, we want to be able to move and get into these formations. But if you say, all right, push these contacts online, but you're, let's just use a Bravo team as an example, is still behind the Alpha team, and the Alpha team just starts pushing up online because that's the order they heard, that's not beneficial. That lead element in a squad needs to also wait for that rear element to push up and actually get online safely before you begin to push. And the same thing applies when we're doing these platoon maneuvers. It's just like when we talk about in these CQC and mount environments, when we say to call your sets and things like that. You don't call set until you're actually fucking set and covering. Just like you don't move until you're actually set and the whole squad is ready to move together. So that ties in a little bit into some of those things, because we want to get out of these tactical cluster blobs of formations that look like horseshoes and these random things. I think some of that's just going to attribute to making sure the two team leaders are ensuring that you're working together to stay online or to be in a squad column or whatever it is that you guys are trying to accomplish. Make sure you're actually set and everybody's good to go before you make those sort of maneuvers. So again, apologies, that we had to cut this short a little bit, and for those of you experiencing any issues, hopefully we can try to get it resolved. Captain Drumheller, did you have anything you'd like to address?
Yeah, I got one thing to address before we do a little fucking technical test and see how well we can follow instructions. What are the 3 Ds?
Distance,
direction, description.
Distance, direction, description. What are the 3 Ds?
Distance, direction, description.
What are the 3 Ds, guys?
Distance, direction, description.
Description.
What's the first one you guys keep saying?
Distance.
Distance.
Distance is one of the 3 fucking Ds, guys. In fact, if we're gonna drop one, we can drop the description, the direction, and the distance. There's a group of enemies bearing 264. Oh fuck, there's enemies 264. Okay, we start scanning 264. Shit. How close are they? Are they coming up on us? How far away are they? Do we know? What's the fucking distance? Oh, they're 780 fucking meters away. Distance. I wrote it down when the third or fourth time it happened, and I underlined it every single time it happened after that. It's underlined 5 times on my fucking notepad. That means after I wrote it down, it happened 5 more times. Distance is one of the 3 Ds, guys. Fucking distance.
You cut out, Captain.
Probably for the best. Alright, now let's see how well we can listen to instructions. If you had the desync issues, go over into a pile over there. If you did not, go over into a pile over there.
Captain.
Yes?
Just to clarify.
Captain.
Just to
Do you
clarify.
see people sliding around on the ground right now?
Affirm, sir.
Alright, all of you tab out and check your connection on TeamSpeak, and if you are having fucking packet loss, if you're in this group, you should be having packet loss. If you're in this group, you should not be having packet loss. If you're in one of those groups and you are or aren't, if it's opposite, I want you to just move to the other side of the street.
How do we check that, Captain?
Because my guess is everyone in this group is having packet loss, and no one in this group is having packet loss.
How do we check packet loss?
Right click on yourself.
Connection info.
Client connection info.
Other side of the street, not other group.
Yeah, if you don't know how to do it, right-click their name and go to Client Connection Info.
Other side of the street, not other group.
0%.
Okay,
Over
so
there,
listening
boys.
to instructions is a fail.
Hover over the connection icon. Or hover over the connection icon bottom right of TeamSpeak window.
Nope, don't stand in a group either. I need you guys still separated.
Okay, I got packet loss, but it's less than 1%.
Okay, that's not really a big deal. I'm talking about 10 to 20%. What is your guys' packet loss at right now over here?
7%.
Yeah, if that's. It depends on how much stuff is going on.
0.01.
Oh, okay. Okay, but you.
I
Okay, so
had
you
the
guys were
desync.
having the sliding. You're still
Yes.
seeing people slide around.
At this moment, no, they're not sliding.
Okay, it looks like it might have. Okay. As soon as we started trying to test, it looks like shit might have got fixed.
Captain request if
Yeah,
I
my
can.
packet loss is down to 0% now. It was at 20 before. What'd you say, Sergeant?
Cap, if possible, can we get everyone to put themselves on a whisper and just fucking start talking for a second, and then see if that causes packet loss to go fucking berserk again?
Sure. Everyone, just put yourself on. You don't even have to talk. Just hold your transmit button down.
Test mic check.
Testing.
Hopefully everyone's on whisper. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, right. Well, we're well within what we should be able to handle, Captain, in terms of that traffic throughput. But it's definitely causing people's packet loss to shoot up. Captain, I was talking to First Sergeant at the same time, thinking it might be worth giving the TeamSpeak server a bit of a quick reboot before task force.
We'll do that, but I want to eliminate lambs first. All right, that's it. So you can finish your debrief.
All right, real quick, guys, just school circle up around here real quick. We'll get this over with.
School circle.
All right, so once again, good shit today. Squad leaders, all we'll need from you, send myself and Sergeant Munson an attendance report. Once again, all of you here that are not in Havoc 1, thank you so much for coming and joining us today. I hope everybody in Havoc 1 and those you filled in had at least a decent half-assed time tonight. Don't forget to go fill in for Task Force Bravo for their op tonight. Did anybody have any C's or Q's that they wanted to discuss regarding the training or fire maneuver or what we did here today?
Thank you, sir.
Sergeant Barton.
Thank you, sir. Just took a couple of notes.
You're on Whisper. Can you speak up, Sergeant?
Yeah, my apologies. Is that better?
Affirm.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just have a couple of notes here in regard to the training tonight, and one of them is if you call base of fire, find a tree, find a rock, sit still, and return fire. There was a couple of occasions tonight when a squad would call base of fire and we would be maneuvering on the position and they're pushing through that same position as we get to it. So that's kind of an important thing. And then the other thing would be situational awareness in terms of who to get support from. So if we're in a platoon column and only the squad that's on point comes into contact, it doesn't make a ton of sense to have the very last element in the column push through. It makes sense to me tactically to have the second squad in the column or the third squad in the column to push through, because the entire platoon is held up for the last squad to push up and then push through that contact. So let's just be mindful of who's around you and who you can get support from, the fastest, so that we can keep our fluid movement up. That's all I had, sir. Thank you.
Roger, thank you, Sergeant Barton. And just something on that too, while it is the job of the third and fourth elements to maneuver in a platoon column formation in this example, but that's why it's extremely important that those third and fourth squads get the information on what's happening in front of them, and then executes those movement orders up to those flanks as fast as possible, because sometimes the platoon column can be spread out fucking multiple 100 meters. And so those guys in the rear, they can't just start sprinting up to the front. It's going to take them a hot second. It's going to take them a minute, maybe even two, to get up in an effective flanking position. So that is something to think about. I know that in what we do here, it can be difficult, because if it's just a squad, well, by the time that maneuver element gets up there, maybe everything's dead already. But at the end of the day, so be it. We're not gonna not do fire maneuver tactics because the front point team is fucking just on the ball and on their shit and eliminate everything. So that's why it's really important that those front squads that do get engaged, that they're funneling that information down to those guys behind them, and even helping those guys on, hey, there's some good deflate or tree cover or what have you off to this flank. That's where we would suggest, because those guys in the back, they're kind of blind, right? They're kind of blind to that shit. All they hear is the gunfire and then the comms. So it's a collaborative effort to get those people into place, which, is something that myself and Sergeant Munson tend to do, but we don't want to have to do that as often as we may do. So that's something that myself and Sergeant Munson are going to try to correct ourselves in the future, is trying not to give you such specific task-oriented orders unless we absolutely deem it necessary. But yeah, hasty flank maneuvers and getting up there as fast as you can is always a plus. But thank you, Sergeant Barton, for your comments. Did anybody else have anything they'd like to cover? All right. Good work today, Havoc 1. That's all I had. Squad leaders, make sure you get those attendance reports in, and you are all dismissed. Thank you very much.
Good work tonight, guys.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yep.